We are live on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. Going to be live on Rockfin. As soon as that little red go live button is clickable, I'm joined by Stella from Australia. Stella, how are you?
Yeah, g'day. How's it going?
Right. Way to really nail that stereotype for the audience out there.
Yep. Got to get it in there.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
I'm very good. I'm very good, and thank you for your invite.
I'll always enjoy having you on and getting a view from the other side of the world. I really don't even know. Like, you put a globe in front of me, and I couldn't point out where Georgia is. Probably, it's a really old globe when the maps were different, though. So,
providing it's a globe, but
is it? Yeah, it might not even be a globe I'm pointing at.
Who knows?
It could be like a basketball or something. That's why I can't find anything. So let's dive in here to wild new campaign ads, like really wild. I want to go through some of those. The great debates, maybe not so much, and courtroom sketch interpretations from me and Stella, and joining us also is the president, Mr. President, President Trump. Thank you for joining us today. You see you're eating some McDonald's.
Yeah, Brad, I got to get it in when I can. They're trying to suck all the time away from me in those court cases.
You don't have time to eat McDonald's during court. They don't allow it in the courtroom.
No, not at all.
Yeah. But you really would have.
It's like run by barbarians. What kind of people don't allow McDonald's in a courtroom?
They don't want you to sleep. They don't want you eating McDonald's. They don't want you talking about the daughters of the judge.
I mean, if it wasn't so boring, I wouldn't have to be sleeping,
Yeah. You should bring a cot in and just lay down.
The whole thing's a scam.
Yeah. Would you have sex with Stormy Daniels again in that courtroom if you did, allegedly?
I mean, if the mood was right, it's got to be right.
The moon?
Oh, right. I thought you said if the moon was ripe. So if the stars aligned is what you're saying.
Right. Not the moon being ripe. I'm not an astrologist or astronomist or any of those things.
Yeah. I can see you guys still have a little bit of sexual tension.
I can't find Georgia on a globe, though, Brad.
You can't. Well, that's why you're running to be president, and I'm just talking about the news. So before we get into those sketches, I want to do just a quick rundown of what the top news is today. And this just popped up, so I don't know any details of this. This is breaking the past 30 minutes. Tonight, it says social media platforms were abuzz. This came from X, because a bag containing cocaine residue was found at the U.S. Capitol Police Headquarters. And, of course, everybody speculated if Hunter Biden was over at the police headquarters. But that's all I know, is that some more cocaine was found in the place where there's nothing but mounds of cocaine everywhere. I'm guessing probably 90% of the politicians in D.C. have cocaine somewhere on their person. This is not a surprise to me that it was found, but it's breaking news nevertheless.
Well, Hunter Biden's a lot like a slug. He just leaves a trail of cocaine behind him.
Right. And then he just walks in circles, snorting it and following himself.
It's sort of like Pigpen, if anyone remembers Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how they found all that cocaine amongst all that cocaine. I mean, I'm impressed.
Right. The Capitol Police Headquarters, do they have an evidence room? There's no doubt cocaine in the evidence room. And I know people who've been arrested, not to say that every cop does this, but they're arrested, they're marijuana or whatever drugs are on them are taken, and they're not charged with it because the police officers are taking all of it for themselves. So not going to even put it in the evidence room. This isn't really a big story to me. A big story to me would be Washington, D.C. has been turned upside down by investigators and no cocaine was found. That would be a big story.
That would definitely not hit the headlines.
You ever dabble in a little blow, Mr. President?
Hey, I haven't, but to each their own. It was used as a medication in the 1800s.
Yeah, well, that's true. Freud used to give it to his patients, and they'd get really happy, and then they'd be really depressed, and they came back, and he said, "Well, you need a little more cocaine."
Yeah, it's like the first antidepressant. Gets you feeling right, but if you don't have enough of it
for a very brief period of time,
you're a lunatic.
Yes,
I don't want to get sued, but was it not one of the original ingredients in Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola, it was.
It's true, it was.
Back when Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola's got a special deal with McDonald's.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of porn stars used to pour Coca-Cola in their penis before a scene until they took the blowout. So now that we've gone to cocaine on penis, the debates are happening. This is the other thing everybody's talking about. Biden said Biden and Trump agreed to do 2 debates, one in June 27th, the other September 10th. First one hosted by CNN, going to be held here in Atlanta. And there will be no live audience for that debate, which is a condition for Biden's participation, with the reason being that the more people there are in any given room with the president, the higher the likelihood one of them will find themselves in an inappropriate shower. And that night's not about showering with the president. It's about the issue. So they just said, get all the people out of the room. And it will be moderated by Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, both of whom suck really bad, as most of you know.
The reason they don't want an audience there, Brad, is because, Biden can't play to an audience.
He never has an audience. They do these stage photo shoots, and they're so controlled. You can tell. I've watched a lot of them closely. The one where he was on the front line protesting, the first president ever to go to the protest line with the union workers. If you find a aerial view of that, it's like a dozen people that are staffers that put on union T-shirts, and then one union guy, and then the camera framing that we saw on the news just real tight to make it look like he's with the people. He's never with the people. They keep him away from people.
That's because every time he's around people, he threatens to fight.
He's creepy.
Take him behind the barn.
He's literally creepy, and you don't want to bring him out because he'll start humping, just like a dog who can't control himself. He'll start humping something and then yell about black people.
He's sniffing people. He's fighting people.
It's really a normalization of just ridiculousness at this point. I don't know how it can be taken seriously with Biden. I'll show you his announcement. Let me show you his announcement that he made it with.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Did you see it?
No, I'm not up on Biden at all. He's just like he's constantly in an audition and he's doing really badly.
Every time. It's like he couldn't do worse in the audition every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting about this is that Biden made this kind of challenge that he threw down to Trump. He put it on TikTok, the very platform that he's actively trying to get rid of, to ban, yet he's still making very cringeworthy, awful. He doesn't know how to do TikTok. There's no doubt about that.
I'd love to see him do one of those TikTok dances.
Here he is throwing the gauntlet down to President Trump. Well, they were supposed to be there. Here, let's try that again.
He doesn't know what TikTok is. He doesn't know how to use it. These people have teams.
Ooh. So you guys can't see that. I got the wrong one up, I guess. Say that again, Stella, about the teams.
Oh, these people have teams that do their media,
Oh, totally. He just wakes up or stops humping whatever stranger he's humping briefly and goes and does these lines.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
I'll even do it twice is something Ashley Biden never wants to hear again.
Clint Eastwood doesn't even like the guy, and he's quoting Dirty Harry.
He's trying to be tough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Clint Eastwood doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Well, he co-opted it, and maybe Clint Eastwood can show up to the debate and challenge Biden.
Debate with an empty chair.
But what's going to happen, though, because they only let him go to controlled situations, and they don't want those outside factors in. So the people that are going to be there, at least on camera and able to talk, are Trump, Biden, Jake Tapper, and Dana Bush from CNN. So it doesn't matter what Biden does. Those two are always going to interpret what he does as good and what Trump does. Yeah, I mean, Biden could pull his penis out and just be like falling asleep and slapping it on the podium. And Jake Tapper would look at his head and go, very insightful, Mr. Former President Trump. Do you have a response? And Trump can say, he's banging his dick on the thing. And they can say, no more vulgarity. And they cut Trump's mic off and bump up the volume on the penis slapping on the podium. And then the media would give him rave reviews about his performance the next day. That's what's going to happen.
100%. Yep.
100%.
Both candidates won the debate. There's your news reporting on what happens there. That's all you need to know about that. I think I don't even know if it's going to be interesting to watch those two. I don't know that it'll happen. Do you guys think that it'll happen?
It's outrageous. I mean, I don't know whether the people will put up with that, will they? I mean, well, that's a dumb statement, isn't it? I mean, the people have put up with quite a lot, haven't
they put up with Biden.
Really?
So another condition
It's just
for
another red flag. I mean, another red, thing to the bulls sort of thing to stir everyone up. And
it's just like, what will you put up with at this point? Yeah. I think. And so the other condition here is that RFK Jr. is not allowed to be in the debates. That was one of the conditions. So no third-party candidates. RFK Jr.'s out. RFK Jr. immediately accused the two of them of colluding. And it's worth noting that RFK Jr. challenged Trump to a debate at the Libertarian National Convention, which is next week. I don't think Trump has responded. They're not going to debate. He's not going to allow that to happen because he doesn't need to. But what I find interesting is that you have all the Libertarian candidates who are there who aren't getting to debate either one of them. And if they don't arrange something where either the candidates themselves or whoever the nominee is, because that's when the Libertarians, the delegates, choose their nominee. Maybe they were going to do it Sunday. Maybe they move that up. They pick a nominee and they allow that person to ask Trump questions. If they don't set that up, then you're going to have a bunch of Libertarian candidates for president heckling Trump during his speech at the national convention.
I mean, they're not going to be able to heckle me as good as I burned them in Conyers.
Well, I think it's best that it doesn't come to that because it's like a Trump rally. So there's going to be Libertarian people, but there's also going to be people that are showing up for a Trump rally. So you will be going up against the best if you do that. So I've talked to Angela, who is the chair of the Libertarian National Committee, about coming on the show and talking about what they're going to be doing before the convention. If she has time, because she's setting everything up, I'm hoping to get her on before. If not, we'll get her on after. But I would really love to see, like, what's going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
To get those guys, and they have Vivek, and Afro Man is going to be playing at the Libertarian National Convention.
Love that Afro Man.
Yeah.
He's great,
he
isn't
got
he?
high.
Yeah.
It's really quite a traveling rock concert, sort of, isn't it?
I mean, it's a carnival.
A touring show.
But fantastic job for them for getting them, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Stella, are you a big Afro Man fan?
I knew the song, but then when there was some police raid on his house, that's when I sort of became more
his
aware
new
of
song
him.
where the police stole all his stuff.
Yeah, that's the one. And the policeman went past and grabbed the cake.
Yeah, they ate his cake too. Like he's just a storyteller. He's great.
He's awesome.
So, all right. Speaking of the upcoming election, we're in full ad mode now. So this is when all the, not just for president, but for everything around the country, all the offices. And this is when you get to see all of the crazy strategies that candidates are using to try and capture people's attention in this very distracted society that we live in. And I love it. And I stumbled upon, you guys might have seen it on X, but I went down a rabbit hole with this chick. A candidate for Secretary of State of Missouri, a 25-year-old Valentina Gomez, who has put together quite the advertising campaign. She's going hard, and I would just like to play her campaign ads for you. I think you guys will get a kick out of them, and see what you guys think about her strategy. Let me get that out of here.
Release the clowns.
I mean, this girl's definitely a Trump lover. That's for sure.
Those flappy, daffy clowns.
So
I'm
here,
releasing an album, by the way.
You're bringing out a new album?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait.
You're releasing an album?
Yep. Gonna be doing all kinds of hits.
Are you collaborating with anybody?
Elvis. A lot of people say I look exactly like Elvis.
Identical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Jailhouse Rock by Elvis.
I can't wait to see that music video, you doing Jailhouse Rock. So this is her
shaking those hips.
Yeah. That's her. This is about to be jobless. 21.
Oh, I read that as about to be topless. I'm sorry.
Well, she kind of gets
a quick
that.
glance.
This is a young girl. She's got a weight bar on her shoulders. She's doing, in most of her campaign ads, she's either jogging, doing leg lifts, doing squats, or doing some other exercise while aggressively talking to camera. This is her introduction to you guys, Valentina Gomez.
Missouri politics is full of weak pussies. I am the future of the Republican Party, and the future is here. For every retweet I get in 24 hours, I will be doing a weighted squat. These clowns are about to be jobless. Let's make America great again.
And it always ends with her holding a gun and a vest. Did you hear what she said at the beginning there? I bumped the volume up. Let me play the very beginning one more time.
Missouri politics is full of weak pussies. I am the
Missouri politics is full of weak pussies.
I love this woman.
You better grab one of them, Mr. Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd grab that by the pussy for sure.
And that, so when you watch her videos, and I'm going to show you a few more, she comes off to me. She's doing the I'm in the gym style video where the girls usually get offended if the guys look at them or at least act like they're offended. Then they yell at the guys and tell them to stop. This chick comes off as someone who would do the opposite, who would make sure they meant it, would put her weights down and say, well, don't stare at it unless you're going to come over here and grab it, faggot, and then go force her vagina onto them. And then when they didn't do it, slam their head against the nearest barbell, step over him, and then say, make Missouri great again as she walked off and her campaign website flashed up on screen. That's this chick's vibe. You'll see. It's already right here, but it gets even worse.
That's a feminist right there. She is
Or-
a
or
true
better.
feminist.
Yeah, no, this looks like she's got a collection of dominatrix things going on. All right, get rid of that one.
Dominatrix with weights. That would be interesting.
Yes, this is someone who just says, "Don't you stare at my pussy unless you're ready to grab me by it."
Amen.
And she has a pillow,
salty chippy
yeah.
fingers.
She has a picture of her with like her 3 dogs, and then a pillow with your face on it, Mr. President, that she's cradling.
What, does she work at the Bass Pro Shop?
I think she's campaigning there, or maybe she works there. I'll tell you what I found out about her background in a minute.
Don't forget, August 6th is the day we take Missouri back. Let's make Missouri great again.
I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem. And yeah, I like.
That's her. All bad bitches solve my fucking problem.
She's a true feminist, like I said.
No, this girl goes hard. So she's leaning into the Donald Trump style of campaigning as an immigrant from Colombia, legal. I think she might have been, yeah.
Can you fill me in a little bit about Missouri? So that's a very high rate of gun ownership. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I know that she thinks everybody in Missouri politics are faggots. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
you know, according to the Simpsons, they don't recognize the state of Missouri.
Yeah.
At least Grandpa Simpson doesn't.
Well, they will, because she's going to force them to recognize the state of Missouri. Hello, Sam. Hello, some quack.
Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Joe, not a Fed. Let me check Rockfin over here.
Oh,
What's
hey.
up, Irie?
Come
Yeah,
on,
that should be her
Irene.
campaign.
That's
Yeah,
It's going to be on the album. Come on, Irene.
Irie says that should be her campaign slogan, grab it, faggot. And she's basically almost there with some of these ads here. Here's another one. She likes to, I feel like she goes around, walking around all day in the city, calling people who put creamer in their coffee pussies and then knocking their coffee out of their hand. I feel like
love
that's, yeah.
I love it. I hope she bullies everybody there.
No, she's definitely got the bully vibe. Here she is, number 3.
I wouldn't mess with her.
I wouldn't either. She looks tiny, but like a nightmare.
A tiny little
She-
nightmare.
She looks like she can handle the steel, that's for sure.
What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. We used to be
Bitch.
strong, America. Now, there's a bunch of pussies crying in politics and on social media. I need the Lions of America to wake up and help me take this nation back from the weak men and women that have sent our sons and daughters to die in wars that they profit from. General Flynn said it best. When there's war, there's a failure in diplomacy. And under President Trump, the world was at peace. And let me tell you something. I really miss those mean tweets right about now.
Yeah,
President Trump, I have your back.
Got
thank
your
you.
back.
Thank you. And I love that machine gun she carries around.
Yeah, she always shows that machine gun. And I love that she's like, can I put pussy into this one? Like she just, no, you're not going to find anybody who calls people pussies more in their ads than this chick does.
I mean,
So if Trump gets back in, all you pussies are going to be under Trump again. So that's a worry.
I bet she can really beat some ass.
Stella, what do you, so explain to us what you mean that we're going to be under Trump for the
Well, you know,
president.
I mean, all the pussies will be under Trump again. So that's
That's true.
you know,
Yeah.
Is that going to be legal? I don't know.
He's going to own all of the pussies.
Yes,
Because
that'd be great.
if he's elected, he's going to have that bus where they go door by door, ripping
pussy
the
bus.
wombs out of, taking all of the women's bodies' rights away from them.
No
there any
rights for women, none at all.
No. Is there any furries running at all?
I've got. I hope so. I do have a furry story. I like to always have a furry story in the back pocket, Stella. So I'm glad you brought that up. So like mines, we're always thinking furry. You know.
Absolutely.
I saw
fur in the brain.
I saw a
Brother
picture.
Con, isn't that coming up in Atlanta? You should go there, Brad.
You are so culturally up to date, Mr. President.
I know where all the cons are. You know, I gotta do con jobs a lot.
I saw a picture that Adam Carolla retweeted that was of a person who dresses like a dog, a furry dog, with like the BSDMs or whatever it is. It just looked real creepy on the ground on all fours and looking just like right in front of some kid's face, looking at some kid. And Carolla tweeted, "Where's Christy Nome when you need her?" Which I thought was funny because it was a person dressed as a dog. Creeping
I can't believe that they
okay.
parent would let a full-grown human dressed like a dog lick their child's face.
Yeah, thank you, Iris. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that.
Was it Joe Biden in the dog outfit?
It might have been. It was probably one of his staffers for sure. Let's get the next one up here. These I went down a rabbit hole watching these chicks' ads. This one, she has a celebrity voiceover. Dana White, the president of the UFC. And this guy's a hard ass, and he loves her. I guess he loves her because they're like-minded. Here it is.
UFC.
Yeah, UFC, excuse me. Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Okay, thank you.
If you're a fucking savage and you get out there and you grind hard and you want it bad enough, you can run all these guys over, man. For the small group of savages out there, run these fucking kids right over, man.
That's her. That has her website. It's just hilarious to me.
Very staged, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's. I do love the consistency of it, though. They chose a persona for this chick, and they committed to it.
Yeah. Yep. She's got a good part to play. Actually, I'd like to play that part.
It's a fun part.
Absolutely.
I just like they keep showing her with that machine gun.
They show it every single time. I want you guys to think, because towards the end, it's going to reveal this. Think about what you think her position on Israel is. You don't have to answer yet. We'll get to it in a minute just to see if it is what you expect or not. Here she is again. Oh, wait, got that one already. All right, so here's her. She's doing like a run across Missouri. Or like St. Louis to I can't remember where.
I think she thinks Israel's a bunch of pussies for not going ahead and handling Palestine.
This is a great one. We'll find out briefly. She has a weighted vest on, and she's in the middle of the road running because that's where you run is in the middle of the street, not on the sidewalk. And she's got those really tight shorts on, flowery shorts, and she's doing a run across the state, and she's encouraging non-faggots to come join her, I think. And here she is.
In America, you can be anything you want. Don't be with gay. Stay
So the music was too loud on that one, but what she said for those, she says, in America, you can be anything you want. So don't be weak and gay. And then she says, stay fucking hard. And then she just starts sprinting.
He's like Goggins.
Hang on a minute. Is it okay to say that don't be gay? I thought that was a crime.
It's coming back. It's coming back, Stella.
Oh, it's coming back. Excellent.
And that's why
Goggins,
she can
stay hard. That's what he says.
Well, that's what she's demanding those guys staring at her in the gym. Stay hard if you're going to stare at me or don't look at it. Like,
well, you know who Goggins is, right?
Nah, who's Goggins?
He's the former Navy SEAL. He's a media, social media guy. He's always running around being like, hey, work out in the morning, stay hard.
This girl is always exercising.
Yeah, she must watch a lot of Goggins. Goggins is a good guy.
This ad would have been better, I think. It would have fit her persona better if when the camera panned around, she kept her same pace and there was like a purple-haired guy standing there and she runs over and just cold cocks him to the ground. And then she says, "Make Missouri great again."
Stomps him.
Yeah, I think the only time she slows down is when she turns around to go finish the job of this guy on the ground.
It's almost a parody, isn't it? I mean, this is just...
Absolutely. This is the best one right here. I love this one.
It's just 1 degree off parody.
Because in this one, you're looking at her crotch because her crotch is right there in the middle of the camera during half of this. But so at her get up here is she is hanging by a pull-up bar in a gym. And here it is. Sorry. Yeah, so she's hanging by a pull-up bar. And she's got her legs like she's sitting. So she's hanging and she's doing leg lifts. And she's got, like she's Marley from the Christmas Story or whatever, Scrooge, all these chains around her body, putting the weight on her body. And she's exercising and she's got a message for us.
Yeah, you are right with Marley.
They're trying to put President Trump in jail, just like Andrew and Tristan Tate. If speaking the truth gets you a trip to jail, then I guess I should get my jail bag ready. Good thing I like chains anyway.
I mean, talk about that. She's putting her crotch in front of the camera and talking about how she likes chains, and then throws in the Tristan Tate comparison. What did you guys think of that ad?
It's just getting bizarrer and bizarrer.
What do you think is in her jail bag that she says that she's getting ready?
Right.
Definitely lipstick.
Maybe a shank.
I think she has nothing but BDSM material. I think she's not going to jail to just be, another prisoner that goes forgotten. She's going to jail to win jail. I could even see her, ironically, identifying as a man just so she can go beat the shit out of all the faggots she sees in the men's jail.
Let's make jails great again. I mean, she's got the power. She's a powerful woman, She's the goddess returned.
I wonder how tall she is. She's probably like 5'2".
Yeah, she doesn't look very. I mean, look at the size of that gun. That's why they picked a small chick.
Totally, it's bigger than
It's
her.
like all the hamburger ads. They pick people with really tiny hands.
And I thought maybe she was in the military, but I don't think she was. I don't think she was in the military. Irie says he's retarded.
Like she probably should be. But all the
whose
pussies are in the
dog?
military, aren't they?
Well, they are now because they changed. Now, I don't want to say they all are now, but they changed the recruiting anyway. Irie, who are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about your dog as being a retarded faggot? Literally the best dog ever. See, people don't realize, this is what we lost when language was getting censored, is that retarded faggot is a term of endearment. My little retarded faggot is so sweet. You know what I mean? Little furry retarded faggot. Bringing it back, though.
There's worse words that you... Well, I mean, Australia is pretty... it's a bit like that, you sort of call your best mate the worst thing ever, but it's a, term of endearment.
Yes, you're right. And I feel like this chick embodies that former culture that's coming back. Now, here's the answer to the Israel question, sort of.
I think I'm right.
We will see. Gomez, number 7. She's pretty.
Israel has influence on both sides of the political aisle in American politics. For that reason, I will never be taking $1 from AIPAC because my allegiance is to the people, to the Constitution, and most importantly, to God. My morals and integrity are not for sale, and I will always put America first.
She should have just said faggots, just to really put a button on that. What's AIPAC? AIPAC is proud pro-Israel Americans. So she's not going to take money from them. That doesn't necessarily answer the question.
Boy, she's saying all the right things, isn't she? I mean, whoever wrote the script has definitely got their ear to the ground. People.
Yeah. She does kind of contradict herself a little. I got 3 more of these little 10-second ads. I can't remember which one this one is.
Interesting character.
She is an interesting character. And look at this. So you have the on screen, before you even hit play here, it says, "So fuck around." And it's got a picture of her holding a gun with an NRA hat on.
There's a lot of Hamas people coming for me on my social media. My address is public, so fuck around.
So she
needs an editor. That's what she needs.
The audio is too, or the music is too loud. But she just told Hamas, "My address is online. Come over, bitches, and find out."
Yeah, I'm sure that you would probably turn up to her house and there'd be guards all around the place. There's probably tunnels underneath it. Yep, tannerite around all the doors.
I don't know that her address is actually online because there's not really very much information about this chick.
Some little abandoned, rundown house.
I'm starting to think, like, is this another AOC? She went to activist training school and was just plucked because she did some organizing at a college she went to. Like, what's the deal here? And right, and I could find very little information about her. I'll tell you what. So her Twitter account, she just started it in 2023, which most likely means she had another one that got scrubbed.
Yeah. I'd probably be checking the talent agencies if I was you.
That's a good idea.
That's usually where you find their photos.
She makes Marjorie Taylor Greene look like a daydream.
Pussy?
Absolutely. Yeah, like a pussy faggot.
Yeah. Total pussy.
Here's the last one, and then I'll tell you what I found, the little bit that I found out about her so far.
President Trump is paying his respects to a fallen hero, while Biden is parting with Lizzo and asking for money. America, the choice is clear. President Trump is the last hope for Western civilization.
Was Biden partying with Lizzo? Did I miss that?
Yeah, what's the Lizzo reference?
I don't know.
Reference to?
That's the only reason I had that clip.
Lizzo, they go way back, you know. Biden loves sniffing Lizzo's armpits.
He would shower with her in a second if they could both fit in that shower.
It's been a fairly large shower.
Too bad he can't fit in the shower.
Irie says my dog had 15 puppies once.
I think Lizzo used Biden as a loofah, didn't she not?
I think Lizzo, when she was accused of sexual harassment by other little Lizzos. There was like a show like Be Lizzo, and it was Lizzo judging like 12 black girls that are all shaped just like Lizzo. Very
Little
interesting.
Was it called Little Lizzos?
It should have been called Little Lizzos. And so she chose some of them. Part of the show was they go on the tour with her if they're chosen. This is part of the contract. And one of them, I guess, got a little more than she bargained for because she accused Lizzo of sexual harassment because Lizzo would bang her boyfriend or like dry hump her boyfriend, which is you got to have strong legs for that as a guy, in front of them. And she would ask them to go to strip clubs with them. And this girl wasn't comfortable going to strip clubs. And
Wait, she dry hump Lizzo's boyfriend? Or
no. Lizzo would always dry humping her boyfriend, according to the complaint.
The girl's boyfriend.
No, her own boyfriend, Lizzo.
So Lizzo's boyfriend.
Yeah,
is he missing? Has he ever been seen again? Or
I mean, they've tried to find him, but
there's no crime in dry humping your boyfriend. You know?
Yeah, they did find parts of the Titanic when they searched inside Lizzo. You're right, and so
Somewhere in the
Lizzo,
folds.
absolutely, Lizzo's disgusting when you read this indictment, but also nothing she did was illegal, and this girl is just being a progressive bitch, and so Lizzo, her progressiveness backfired on it. But part of the story was that this girl was disgusted by Lizzo because she asked him to go to a strip club. She didn't force him, asked him to. And when they went to the strip club, it was in Amsterdam, and it was a strip club famous for strippers shooting bananas out of their vaginas at the patrons. That's what that strip club was. And Biden, I think, was one of those bananas at one point.
That's a big thing in Japan as well.
Bananas?
Did you get to do that?
Shooting bananas. There's a strip club by one of the Air Force bases in Okinawa, I believe.
It's very specific knowledge of this. Have you been there?
I think they're nuclear warheads, those ones. There is ping pong pool.
Brad, need to know.
Yeah.
But let's just say those bananas will take your head right off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You could weaponize them.
There's such a psychological, thing going on with her. Obviously, I mean, stating the bleeding obvious, but with that particular one,
the bleeding obvious.
Yeah, with that particular one, she suggests Lizzo, and she talks about Lizzo, sort of bringing Lizzo in for no really apparent reason. So the viewer or the listener immediately gets a mental picture of Lizzo, and then the attention is shifted back to this woman, Gomez, and immediately it's like Lizzo versus Gomez. So it's like, oh, Lizzo, Gomez. Lizzo. Oh, I'll go Gomez. I think it's just a psychological thing. Yeah, that's the way it works.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting too with Lizzo because after I read the complaint against her, I was totally on Lizzo's side. I was like, Lizzo, I mean, might be fun to party with as long as you're not her boyfriend, but she didn't do anything wrong. And so I thought it was interesting that she continues to virtue signal so much when it's backfired on her.
Was this around the same time that she fat shamed all those little Lizzos?
Yes, she did. They accused Lizzo of fat shaming them. It was part of the complaint. Yeah, the little Lizzos. There's 2 of them, and
little Lizzos.
I get what you're saying, Stella. About it's a pretty funny indictment if you want to go read it. It's like 40 pages. It's actually hilarious.
Poor little Lizzo.
Yeah. But the divide and conquer of everybody's painted as an enemy on this side or another when it's actually a lot more nuanced than that, which is often revealed by stuff like this when you read what's the guy, the Alex Baldwin? Everybody sees him as Alec, the anti-Trump guy, and they forget that he was screaming at his daughter in 2014 in a phone message, calling her queer and all that.
He punched a guy over a parking space.
Right. Yeah, he's totally not what they kind of portray him as.
He shot a woman on set. The man's unhinged.
He did shoot a woman on set. Yeah, he did actually do that.
And he does a terrible impersonation.
He does. He definitely does. I actually remember the phone call. It's one of the very few things I remember about Alec Baldwin. I could never name a movie he's been in, but I can remember that phone call.
Rust. He was in Rust.
The Shadow.
Yeah, that's the one where he killed somebody.
Yeah, that's the one off camera. He killed somebody.
I mean it was a perfect phone call he had, though. A perfect phone call.
The Baldwin?
That must be a thing because remember Mel Gibson, that happened to him as well.
He talked about the Jewish people, yeah.
And then what's his name? The guy who drives Knight Rider.
What's his name?
He ate a hamburger. Hasselhoff. That's right.
Paddling that hamburger around on the floor.
Kind of like I saw you eating a burger a little while ago.
I was eating it. I wasn't paddling it on the floor.
You weren't in the bathtub. Right.
Don't know what he did before that, but we won't ask.
So a little bit about this chick's background, and this is what I found from her LinkedIn page, and I haven't been able to verify about half of it. I could. The rest of it, I mean, it's not much, but she says she's a real estate investor, financier, a strategist. Just a strategist, a former Division I swimmer, which is true, a relentless achiever and a fierce advocate for principles, values that we hold dear as America's battling for a better future. And then she talks about the fallacy of young people not being able to lead because she's only 24, and talks about all the things that she's achieved with her MBA in finance from Tulane. And it was, I think, some school in Connecticut she swam at, but she is pumping up her experience, obviously. She doesn't even have a fully formed brain yet, probably. I think you're 25 when it fully forms. But I was able to find something about her brother, who
Are we talking about the little Lizzo, or are we talking about...
No, we're talking about the chick in the videos. This Valentina girl.
You got to be clear on what we're talking about here, Brad. I got a lot of information dumps going on.
Well, I'm just giving you... So I suspect that there's some sort of psyop behind this chick, even though I like a lot of her ads. But
it's post-erotic humor.
Totally, and it fits perfectly for TikTok and Instagram. I found a page that features her brother, who for some reason, so her brother has the last name of her mom, who was an Olympic athlete, so was her brother. And it has her with the last name that we saw up there, Gomez. So I think I actually did find right before the show a little bit more information by searching her mom's last name with her name, so I think that's one of the ways they kind of covered some stuff up. But her brother, it says on the Institute of Global Politics website, which is a organizing think tank that brings in young people and trains them. So it's kind of like the Global Shapers with the World Economic Forum type thing. And it says that he was named 2020's Columbia Person of the Year. And I think they mean the country, Columbia, not the school. It was by El Espectador. El Espectador is what it was. And the reason he got that is because he founded something called Flor de Mayo Foundation, which says has helped 1,200 children in Colombia access sports, education, health, and other cultural activities. See, I have seen her as credited as doing that on some of the articles about her, which here it just says he did it. And he seems to be aspiring for a future in global politics.
Wait a minute. What if she is her brother?
Wow, then I'm very, very conflicted about how I felt about some of those videos then. She's not, because I've seen pictures of her and her brother together. I had to cross-reference an old picture from 2016, the only one I could find.
Okay, because I was thinking maybe it was like a sleepaway camp situation.
No, it's definitely her brother. And her brother was the star achiever. She didn't get as much attention until maybe this is part of her aggressive campaign. But there's more. They've definitely scrubbed the internet of some probably revealing information about her. Maybe one day we will see it.
Oh, they always do that.
To anybody who wants to watch Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, what is Sleepaway Camp? Is that where
it's a movie?
You have seen so many movies, Mr. President.
Hey, I only sleep 4 hours a night.
You sleep in court. Do you have those contact lenses inside of your eyes where you're streaming movies?
I was thinking about getting some of those googly glasses.
Mr. Trump, how long does it take you? How long does it take you to do your hair every day?
Oh, I spend a good 45 minutes on my hair.
Oh, okay. That's more than me.
I gotta condition it. I gotta
every day.
I gotta quaff it.
Hey, how are you able to pat Barron on the cheek? Do you need a step ladder?
I'm a pretty tall guy, Brad.
He's Nephilim, though.
Yeah. Well, what does that say about me, huh?
I haven't seen him around, actually. Have you seen Barron around much, or is
only
he
from the waist down?
low?
His head's in the clouds. I can't see.
He's down in Florida.
Somebody climbed him.
Yeah,
I'm in my skiff right now.
I can tell with that couch back there. It's a very cool looking skiff. So Barron, he turned 18, so they've kind of started going after him a little bit now.
Okay. He's only 18. Wow, I thought he was older than that.
Yeah. So moving on, getting to the
growing right up in front of the entire country.
Yeah, I can't believe he wanted to play soccer.
Yeah, I know, right? He should be playing basketball.
He's so tall. Yeah, I can imagine it's harder to play soccer if you're tall.
Barrett thinks he's European or something.
Well, who does he play with? I wonder, because you can't just go to a regular. I mean, people are going to be like, "Oh, it's Donald Trump's son, Barron."
I mean, there's neighborhood kids, there's kids at his school and stuff.
In Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah. All the neighborhood Mar-a-Lago kids. It's kind of like Saved by the Bell.
I thought they were all old people down there.
Well, they have grandchildren.
Right, okay. I see.
Would be weird, wouldn't it? Like being Donald Trump's son's friend.
That would
going
be
over
weird.
to play at the Trump castle,
Trying to catch Melania getting out of the shower, right, Mr. President?
Hey, I try to catch her getting out of the shower.
All right, so before we get to some of these images, this is Erin Burnett, who is very, very super serious on CNN all the time. She interviewed Stormy Daniels' boyfriend earlier today to talk about how the testimony impacted Stormy. And he looks exactly like you would imagine. Like I could say right now, close your eyes and draw what you think Stormy Daniels' husband looks like. And then when you see him, everyone will have the exact same drawing.
Okay, just wait. I'm gonna presume that it's sort of a Tommy Lee looking kind of character. Is it?
Well, a little bit.
I haven't seen him, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, you have it. Here it is right here.
Tonight, an exclusive interview with Stormy Daniels' husband. He's speaking out for the first time since his wife, the woman at the center of Trump's hush money trial, took the stand. Barrett Blade has been by Stormy Daniels' side for 25 years.
Barrett Blade, by the way, that's definitely a porn name.
Can we make it bigger somehow? Because I can't really see that.
Yeah, he looks really effeminate right there.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, you'll see him here. He's got the
I was right.
They knew each other before Daniels met Trump. The two spent decades as friends and co-workers, making it official as husband and wife 2.5 years ago. And Barrett Blade is out front now.
You nailed it, Stella. Exactly what he looks like. Mm-hmm. Listen to this right here, this first little interaction. I don't think the language used here is accidental. I think you'll probably notice.
It's on CNN, my friend.
The innuendos seem a little heavy to me to be accidental.
So Barrett, I really appreciate your time and you're choosing, you and Stormy choosing for you to speak now.
His name's Barrett.
Stormy spent more than 7 hours on the stand. She was there for over 2 days. Obviously, it's the first time she was face to face with Trump since 2007. And, I was in that room. I mean, they're only 10 or 15 feet apart for those hours and hours. How does she feel now that her testimony
couldn't quite
is
reach her
behind
pussy?
Yeah, listen to that last part there. She said,
Sorry.
For those hours and hours. How does she feel now that her testimony is behind her?
I mean, that's a setup for, I mean, it's always penetration when something she feels behind her. And then he goes on to use similar innuendos in his answer.
I mean, I don't think she feels any differently. Maybe a little relief to not have to be stressed about going in there. But I think she feels the same way she always has felt about it.
Maybe it's just me because I can't take this guy seriously, and I think he's always saying some sleazy line. He's a porn actor.
Oh,
they met at work. They met at work. That's why his name is Barrett Blade. This is porn name.
Went the other way around, didn't they?
Yeah, right. And so here is. This was the most interesting part of this interview to me. She asked him here.
So I can't take this guy seriously either. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's just got this little bit of hypnotist and Satan going on. I don't know.
Yeah, you see it.
And he's coming to us live from hell. What's this red? Who has red walls? That's not very relaxing.
There's nothing in that guy's house I would want to touch. Like I don't want to sit on any of the couches.
Some Christmas decorations up. What is that thing?
Yeah, that's his Christmas tree over his shoulder there.
I would definitely wear gloves if I touched anything in that place.
You see a guy like that too. I've met people like this in person, and it's like I instantly understand that I don't want to be around this person.
Yeah, I start fiddling with my crucifix around my neck.
Yes. All right. She asked him what's going to happen if Trump is not convicted. I thought his answer was interesting.
She did absolutely say that. So Barrett, when you and Stormy have had a chance to talk about this since she testified, have you discussed what happens when you talk about her trying to get on with her life if Trump is found not guilty?
No, big question.
If Trump is found not guilty, I think there's either way, I don't think it gets better for her. I think if it's not guilty, we got to decide what to do. Good chance we'll probably vacate this country. If he is found guilty, she's still gonna have to deal with all the hate.
There's a whole world out there left to fuck.
What do they have to run out of the country for?
Because MAGA supporters will come after Stormy, especially with you not in prison. You will personally lead a group of people over to Bear Blade and Stormy's house and probably have them.
It'll be another insurrection.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll have an insurrection. I don't know what you can do to them that they won't get turned on by.
Well, I would expect a book deal, personally.
There's always the book deal.
There's always going to be a book deal. There's a book in there somewhere, especially if you use AI to write it.
She's already got a book. Like, she already made money off of a book, and sure she'll have another. But I started looking the other day at all of the former staffers and just a bunch of different groups that worked in government when Trump was in the White House. And my theory was that almost every one of them that parted ways with Trump, even the ones who, still like Trump, but mostly the ones that parted ways, always told their story about what happened while promoting a book. And so far through my research, I'm like 24 out of 26. All of them, big promotional book tour, masked as news. When they turn tail and leave and they tell their story, and the media reports all of their stories the same way because they all recycle the same tales based on anonymous sources, but just told through a different former Trump staffer. It's just such a con. They're top of the bestseller list before they're even actually for sale. I don't know who's buying them or if it's the FBI or CIA, but this is like you get the watch or the golden parachute when you retire. I think Trump probably was well aware. Go ahead, say what you want, Omarosa. Well, tell him I said the N-word and you have it recorded, but never actually show anyone the recording. And make millions off of your book. I think he understands how it works. They're all grifters.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm right here, Brad.
I know, Mr. President.
I'm right here.
I don't mean to insult you, Mr. President. I just feel the American people get a bit insulted sometimes.
It's just the circus continuing. We all know that.
Yeah.
I swear, I don't even know why I come on this show anymore.
Well, because you're willing to put up with someone who's a skeptic instead of just going on, Steve Bannon's show and sucking him off all the time.
Hey, I'm not sucking anybody off. If anybody, people are sucking me off, Brad.
You suck yourself off.
I could if I wanted to.
I know. That's
just like the human hedgehog.
That could be a campaign slogan. You could do just a TikTok ad of you proving that. All right, courtroom sketches. Stella, I don't know if you've looked at any of this. Mr. President, I know that you have. This is the thing that's actually interested me about this trial is the courtroom sketches are all, it looks like all of the artists were trained by third grade me. They're also bad mostly, and even there's contradictions even within the same images. Like I think I sent you one, Stella, I'll put it on the screen in a second, that there was a book cover that was an exhibit during the Hush Money trial that was a cover that had Trump on it. It was 20 years ago was this book cover. And then there was Trump also in that image looking at the book cover, yet the image of Trump on the book cover, it was at least 20 years older that Trump was than the Trump in the courtroom. And I don't understand the interpretation that these courtroom sketch artists come up with. And I found a clip here of one of them explaining what their motivation is, which I know that you will find it interesting. I guess they don't have much media training to kind of say this shit out loud like this, but
well, who would think that a court artist would get 15 minutes of fame? I mean, they must be pretty happy about this.
And they all look like 73-year-old women with dozens and dozens of cats is what they all look like.
You know, you've got to, first off, you have to have a news sense, because the only reason why we're doing these drawings is so they can be on the news and fit with what journalists such as you are reporting.
So,
yeah, they just need a bunch of cutaways.
Right. But just what she said there, the courtroom sketches, based on that, has nothing to do with the reality that she sees. It has to do with fitting to the reporting that the news is reporting, which is so this is an admission of being a bad artist for propaganda, in my opinion.
Plain sight, plain audio.
Is it a weird thing to say?
Not everyone would pick up on it, though.
Look at the anchor's face.
He looks like he's watching that chick do pull-ups and lift her legs instead of looking at this lady.
I mean, they've been saying a lot of the quiet things out loud lately.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's hear the rest of this. I haven't heard the rest of this.
So
I want to hear that part again now. Like just the way she says that. She's so matter of fact. I mean, I think she's telling the truth.
But, you know, you've got to, first off, you have to have a news sense, because the only reason why we're doing these drawings is so they can be on the news and fit with what journalists such as you are reporting. So we have to sort of sense what is an important aspect of a testimony. Now, he's sleeping there. I mean, that was the beginning of the jury selection.
All right, now, Mr. President, do you remember this moment here on screen where she has portrayed you as, it looks like your head is like you're about to fall on the table in front of you. What was going on in this moment?
I mean, that doesn't look like me at all.
Not even when you're sleeping.
But did this happen?
I mean, look, I take micro naps throughout the day.
Every day.
Not as much as Biden.
Yeah.
You know, like micro naps are good for you. They're good for the brain.
Do you have any idea who the person over your right shoulder that seems to be a ghost is?
Oh yeah, that's the faceless man from Dick Tracy.
Q knows so many cultural references, Mr. President. I'll let you attend to your dog while we play the rest of this clip.
When he was doing that. Now, he hasn't been really sleeping since, but that was so odd. I haven't really seen a defendant do that. Now, that has stopped. Now, you capture these things.
I just don't get why she drew it that way. It's like she's writing a comic book, and it was just very much a...
Look, he could have just been blinking for all we know.
Right. That's another question I had is how much of the time are they spending? Are they just drawing from the time the gavel comes down? Is that why some of them are so bad? Because it's like a nonstop. Is it like the courtroom typewriter where they don't stop drawing?
Yeah, I had that same question. I was actually curious. I haven't really thought about that too much, about how many drawings they actually output per day or whatever. But
yeah, like how do they choose what to draw?
Yeah, because it's just flash by moments.
Right.
I
You
was
know,
actually
I think
I was
she told
watching.
us how she chooses it, but I didn't mean to
Okay.
interrupt. She chooses it based on what fits the narrative the journalists are reporting.
Oh, that's right. Yes, of course.
Yes.
I believe they spend, on average, around about 8 minutes per drawing, roughly. I mean, you can't really average because every drawing's a little bit different, obviously, and there's going to be different things happening. But and it
Yeah.
can be 6 to 8 drawings a day, as far as I could find out.
Yeah. So 8 minutes, 6 to 8 drawings a day.
That's considered quite a lot, actually. Apparently.
So what they must be doing is they have a sense of the narrative, or they're told what to capture. So they know what the narrative is going to be already, which we all know, and they probably work with the journalists who are in the room, like Rachel Maddow's in the room. Tapper actually did his own courtroom sketches. If I can pull them up, I'll show you. But so they
I'm
must
sure
have
Hunter Biden would like to do some too. I
I'm
mean,
sure
he's
he
fabulous,
would.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great artist. Yeah. There's only one video that anybody's ever seen of him actually painting anything, yet he sold tons of paintings for millions of dollars in total. But they must be given an assignment. We need you to capture Trump with his eyes closed. We need you to capture Trump looking like he's not paying attention, looking aloof, and try and make this character look like they're smart. This character looks like his lawyer. I'm guessing that's Trump's lawyer that's drawn next to him. It looks like he is a high
Also
school.
looks like he could be asleep.
No, yeah, he looks to me like he's in the back of a biology class in the 11th grade, and the teacher just scolded him for shooting a spitball at somebody.
Really
Yeah.
seen a defendant do that. Now that is stopped. Now, you capture these things because you know the reporters are going to report that, and they need pictures to match their story. So
I mean, she just gave us the answer right there again.
Again.
That is so wild to me. So, I mean, she's just admitting the propaganda there.
Pretty much.
That's
Well,
crazy.
you can't see it, you can't hear it, so they got to make something up.
She doesn't even need to be there then.
I wasn't even sleeping, you know.
I wonder if there was a video I didn't actually bother watching, but it was something like courtrooms artists. Why we'll always need courtroom artists, and I thought probably not. Why couldn't they have a camera and have AI constructing images from? I'm sure the technology would be there. I mean,
it's crazy.
I'm not advocating for it, but
are these images here? Yeah. I mean, these are the images. Go ahead, Mr. President.
You'll have a sex bot drawn.
Yeah, of course. People would. I don't know. Do sex bots have other jobs?
I'm sure they'd have to, right?
Right. Yeah, they'd have to. The inflation.
We
have to
have other jobs aside from sex.
In your economy, are you running on a platform of your sex bot won't have to get a job?
I mean, we're not going to be in Bidenomics, but, I'm not going to promise that sex bots won't have to get jobs.
All right. Yes.
Everybody needs to feed into the economy. If sex bots started paying taxes, then, we'd probably all have to pay a lot less taxes.
They got to pay their fair share. Yep. Yeah.
Look, we might even have a sex bot running for president at some stage.
I hope so.
It would not surprise me.
Yeah,
one
maybe
bit.
Melania will run. I hope that she does. This image here and the others, this is the first criminal trial in the history of the country of a former president. So the textbooks, 10 years, 5 years, 50 years definitely, these images are going to be the visual portrayals of what happened during that trial.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's
That's
what
wild.
a lot of this stuff is about, all this footage that they're taking, even Gen 6, I mean, that's what that was all about.
Oh, totally.
It's about the historical record, not what actually happened.
Look at those facial expressions right there, by the way. It looks like they're, they're having
drawings.
sex right there.
It looks like he's looking at her breast.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're in the same room and tickling each other's feet right now based on that.
You capture these things because you know the reporters are going to report that, and they need pictures to match their story. So that's why we're there.
That's great. That's really cool. Elizabeth, unfortunately, and I say that in all candor, we're out of time, but this is going to go on for a few weeks, and I want to have you back for some of these moments because the way you've described it and the way you've interpreted it, I think is really important. And it brings it to life for all of us. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Thanks.
Yeah, say that again, Mr. President.
They silenced her. They're like, "Oh, that's great. That's awesome." Really
She was telling a lot of truth. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. She was telling truths they don't usually tell. So I love this image.
He actually did look like that. He looked like he was sort of going, also, but he was actually listening to something in his ear.
Oh,
Better off.
Yeah. They always have that earpiece. This image here I found to be interesting because for those watching, you have, it's like it was drawn from the somebody sitting. You see the problem with this image, Stella. Like somebody sitting in the first or second row drew this, and you can see the judge, you can see the American flag, you can see Stormy Daniels on the stand, and the image behind her, which is an image of her and apparently Trump wearing what looks like a raincoat and a 1950s red baseball cap or some weird. I mean, that's just the weirdest drawing. You can go look at this picture. Trump looks nothing like that in the picture. I don't know how. That's what she came up with. But the strange thing about this image is that everybody's facing the normal way, except Trump appears to have turned around and is facing the back of the room like he's a petulant child.
Like they just had to have a reason to show that strange alien face. What were those characters off Star Trek with the weird foreheads? What were they? And they spoke a strange
weird
language.
what?
The Klingons.
Oh,
the Klingons. That's what he looks like. Reminds me of a Klingon.
He does have the Klingon bone structure there. Look how defined his bone structure is. But then I remembered what the story was that this correlates to, that we know that they draw the picture to match the story. CNN, MSNBC were reporting relentlessly, the same narrative. Yeah, Trump was so frustrated today during the Stormy Daniels' first day of her testimony that he completely twisted his body around to face away from her. So I'm imagining Trump's legs still facing forward in this image, but he's completely twisted his body around.
I find it interesting that they put me in a judge's robe, too.
It does look like a judge's robe. Did you wear a judge's robe, Mr. President?
You know, I didn't, but it's a good idea. I think it'd be a great way to mock that.
You should bring your own gavel. Yeah, bring a gavel, take over.
Brian Moloch, whatever, what's his name?
It's, I don't know.
Munchie
Moloch.
Munchkin
Munchkin Moloch.
Munchkin.
Do you remember what was happening here, Mr. President, in this image?
Well, you know, I was pouting.
Clearly.
Yeah, definitely. It does look like that.
You know, I wore a giant robe in.
A bathrobe?
The judge's robe. They've got this video playing of me dressed like Eminem.
That's meant to be Stormy Daniels, is it? The blonde in front of the
that's
laptop?
her. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, then you got this Cartman impersonator or whatever standing beside her.
He looks sort of chimeric. It's almost like half cat.
Yeah. Aaron says you have a fish mouth. You do have a fish mouth in this one, actually.
Definitely.
And the judge is looking at you.
Very jowly, maybe like a velociraptor.
Scowling. They're scowling at Trump.
Yeah, you notice the judge is upset that you've twisted your body around to face the opposite direction.
He's like, I can't believe that guy's looking the other way. I'm going to finger myself. That's what he's thinking.
And look how
I think he's reacting. He's meant to be reacting from what Stormy is saying. He's sort of going, "Oh, you disgusting thing, Mr. Trump." And
Stormy is clearly showing how she was cupping your testicles, Mr. President.
Yes, my very large testicles.
I wish they would have asked her to draw them during the trial. I think that
at least it's not egg shaped like that Epstein.
Like Jeffrey Epstein.
He's only got the one too, hasn't he?
Apparently. Yeah, he just appeared quite conveniently.
You know the story behind, like, the speculation why. Stella, do you know what we're talking about during the deposition that Jeffrey Epstein did back in, like, 2005? Someone describes his penis to him as being egg-shaped and very detailed description. And he kind of
Epstein's or the
Jeffrey Epstein's.
Right,
penis.
okay. No,
yeah,
right.
One of the victims described it. And the theory is that his penis was egg-shaped as described because he did not refute the description because that's what happens when you use a penis pump too much.
Was there evidence? Did he have to stand up and pull his pants down or anything in court or what?
Well, I couldn't see because I couldn't see inside of the
Did we get a sketch?
Mouth. No, there was no sketch artist in there, unfortunately. We didn't have.
Dang.
I can't imagine the cartoonish penis these people would draw.
It'd make it look really good, though.
I would really love to see it. It's have a personality of its own. Here's another one. This is a Jake Tapper special here. Because Jake Tapper, during the other day, he goes, I'm a bit of an artist myself. I'm not like these wonderful ladies. So I drew my own interpretations in my day in court. And he's got a little bit of a different view of Stormy here. Mr. President, what do you see here?
She looks like a lurch with a giant forehead.
Yeah, looks a bit witchy.
Yeah, she's collapsing in her shoulders.
Not very flattering. And he should stick to his day job.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't pay hush money to somebody who looked like that.
I think he should quit his day job too.
Yeah. And also not become an artist.
Yeah, he should quit his day job. Yeah, it's a weird image. This is what confuses me, because every image that comes out, even some of them drawn by the same artist, they're portraying these characters completely different. Like, look at this one right here.
More confusion.
It's just, what is this picture of Trump here? Did he gain 45 pounds between the last drawing and this one?
They've all made him look rather large, I thought, actually. Really big, huge shoulders. And I mean, he's not a small man. He's got a fairly...
I'm an imposing man.
Does your
like
face
not in the
become
room.
Square and a little tornado go around your head when you get angry?
Well, it's like I had a moment like they did in The Exorcist where my head did 360 degrees very fast, throwing up split pea soup.
Yeah, you think
I
so
think,
fast.
That denotes that he's shaking his head, I believe. That's probably a fairly common way of an artist drawing the movement of shaking head.
And he's
unless
so demonic.
Unless his hair is so messy that...
Yeah, he twists his head all the way around when shaking his head.
Yeah. Anti-clockwise.
Okay, so where's the one? This is the one that I thought was like...
Back style is lovely, Mr. Trump.
Thank you.
Okay, so this image...
Oh, yes.
The judge now appears to be blind because he was like 20 years younger in the last image, but now he has almost Ray Charles like glasses on, or those his eyeballs. And then there's an exhibit of Trump with, as I said, Trump on the cover, where he looks like he's like 95 years old, even though that's from 20 years ago. How did you?
Teeth.
Right? Did you have buck teeth back 20 years ago when this book was published, Mr. President?
I mean,
did you used to?
That looks a lot more like the picture of the judge than it does me.
Right, but it's actually your book. Yeah, it does look more like the judge.
He's wearing the same suit.
I mean, most of my books. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's like How to Get Rich was this book. It was published in like 2004.
How to Get Rich.
And I'm not sure who that woman who's dressed like she's from the 1770s. She just needs one of those fake gray hair caps on
and a bonnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump, think big. Think big.
The pictures are usually a lot more flattering.
That's not a good picture right there.
The Art of the Seal?
Fantastic picture.
That one's How to Get Rich, not The Art of the Deal.
Oh, The Art of the Deal. Right, okay.
But
I'm just saying, these are flattering. This should be proof that they're usually flattering.
I just don't understand how the same sketch artist can portray Trump looking like that on a 20-year-old book versus Trump in person looking so much younger. It's perplexing to me.
Brad, if you ever want it, I'll do a reading from my books.
Yes, I would love for you to do that, actually.
That'd be fantastic.
What are your thoughts? Stella? You're an artist. What are your thoughts on these sketches?
Well, I mean, they're done fairly quickly, and they're done with pastels, a lot of them, which are not known for their very sharp, pointy ends. So there's only a certain amount of detail that you can get. But I think, this is very orchestrated, obviously. But a normal artist is actually a very multi-skilled person. It's quite extraordinary how complicated the process can be. But this is definitely controlled artistry.
Mr. President, what's going on? Yes, it's definitely controlled
That's a
artistry.
puppet.
Oh, it even made the New Yorker, the cover. Is that real?
That
A courtroom drawing made the cover of New Yorker?
The courtroom drawings have been all the rave. They've been bringing these ladies out on all the networks to ask
Jane
them about
Rosenberg. Right, yeah.
their insight. And I don't know who this is.
Yeah, that
This
one's
woman.
pretty good.
And now you look like a
She's got
mob
real,
boss.
she's got a real alien neck.
She does. She looks like she's from
yeah.
Scorbia.
Area 47.
And then they got me like melty face over
You're
here.
right. But look at the judge here, though. Like this judge
Kind of
looks
the
like
apes.
fucking Frankenstein over here, the monster. This is
bad.
That's you as like Al Capone.
Oh my gosh.
Clayface from the Batman comic books.
Quasimodo. I mean, that's not an artistry. That's not a very good artist rendition of a person. Someone who does portraits all the time. It's like they've been that one on the right. The blue suit. It's like they've been told. It's like a good artist has been told to make a picture look bad, and it's quite challenging for them. You know what I mean? It's like they've got to try to pretend to make it look bad, even though they're quite skilled.
It does look it looks like they're trying to make him a villain in a comic book. I don't know. What is this on the wall? Do you see where the
left
cursor
side of his
is?
face is melted. That's somebody in the background with
Yeah,
pants.
that's where I said it was Clayface.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like somebody's standing and his crotch is right there in front of Trump's face to me.
Looks like handcuffs or something hanging
Now,
off the belt.
this is a very different Trump right here.
Mm.
This is a, oops, I had an accident Trump, or like a very dopey Trump.
Looks like he's
Yeah,
fighting.
it's like, oops, I shit my pants, Trump.
Is that what happened here, Mr. President?
You know, I'm not going to say that it did happen. You think I'm going to say that I
say it
shit
didn't
my
either.
pants? I
No.
mean, come on, Brad.
Well, I don't. What about here? What are you measuring with?
My penis.
Oh, you can't give. I thought that might be the case. That's a very substantial size. Maybe a penis pump has helped you out.
I don't need one, Brad. I don't need one.
Yeah,
I'm
of
surprised
course.
we haven't seen that sketch in Meme World.
Think big.
Yeah, this sketch and me. Yeah.
Yep. Like with lots of different things inserted.
And this one here.
He looks
it's
like Baron.
Yes, he looks like Baron here.
Very young. I took a few years off his. Is this an old one? Or is this current?
That's a good question. It's definitely not 20 years.
We're in the same suit again.
No. Okay, this is last year, so it is old,
Right.
but it's not. Let me go.
A little bit more favourable.
Definitely.
Yes. He's definitely
I'll
not
get
as
a
cranky.
couple
Look at that
more
one on the
of these.
left there, Rolling Stone, typical.
Look at this here. Look at this. So they draw
Sorry
such
for
a-
the people who are just listening. Look at this. Look at this.
They have this
They just-
beautiful drawing of Stormy Daniels here.
Describe it.
It's her in like a tank top, but then
Yeah.
I wish I could make this one bigger. I don't know how to make this one bigger. No, I don't know what you're doing here, Mr. President.
I'm,
He looks very pleased with himself.
I'm pretty happy. I probably just called him an idiot.
Yeah, you made one of those lines that makes that girl want to be like you.
I mean, I call that judge a joke all the time. He's a joke.
Oh yeah, I love this one. He is a joke.
See, that's quite a detailed picture. Look at the face.
Of Cohen and
yeah.
Trump, because they were
Cohen's-
told to capture that conflict. That was the big battle, and so they must have been given that assignment. Oh, she's crying in this. This is all stupid. These images. Look how big her tits are here versus the size reduction there, and the lip lift over here.
Wow. Yes, it's definitely orchestrated.
And then you come over here, and her breasts have gotten bigger again.
They're all such mean faces on Trump, and his eyebrows. Looks like they need a feed, you know, or a walk.
We're gonna have to do a recess so the president's eyebrows can go on a brief walk.
They need to be microchipped.
I love this. I'm concerned, says the courtroom sketch artist. Nobody gives a shit if the courtroom sketch artist is concerned.
What is she concerned about?
She's concerned about whether or not you're going to be freed to go pay hush money payments and have
This is
sex
like
with porn
the
stars.
entire courtroom's completely biased.
It must be a dilemma as to which color the artist is going to choose to do the skin tones.
Yeah.
Does no one find that to be odd, that the entire courtroom is biased?
They are biased, and that's the situation. There's no truth to what we're obviously being reported on that, but that's going to be the history.
Shocker.
Yeah, so Stella, how would you have approached drawing any of that? Even though we know that's just like a second, third-hand perspective because we weren't in the courtroom.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've never really pictured myself being a court
You would be a
artist.
hilarious courtroom sketch artist.
I'd probably just do quoodles, and
you could do some
comics.
courtroom sketches next time we're on the show together.
all right, we'll do that. But it's, as I said, it's quite an art. Like in all seriousness, the actual being able to pick the correct moments and block out the moments that happen straight after that to be able to focus, but yet still be aware of what's going on.
So I think if they were
really
doing
got to split your mind, I think.
If it was a genuine representation, yes, but I think they have the bullet points they go in with, and they're just looking for something that they can capture to draw that meets that, as that woman said.
Yeah, they're drawing for the reporters. Definitely, they're drawing for the media in this case. Yeah,
I've gone through on some shows just a long list of channels of propaganda that people like Edward Bernays and these other government propagandists have listed as ways to make contact with the public, whether it's a bus billboard, writing on a bathroom wall, just anything that you get information in front of people. But never before have I heard courtroom sketch artist, as the courtroom sketch artist told us right there in that clip. It's all deception.
You think?
What if I did? What if I believed it all? Have you ever met anybody who just believes the news?
Oh my gosh, the world is full of them, my friend. There's another term I came across last night. I'm just looking for my notes. Sorry. Yeah, it's hybrid warfare. Hybrid warfare. Have you heard that term?
Hybrid, yes.
Yeah, it's basically a very fancy way of saying we're gaslighting you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the hybrid. That's the kinetic, and then the propaganda war. Or the cyber war, the combination of all that shit. I mean,
and also performed in such a way that the aggressor can avoid attribution or retribution if
that's
it's done
the
cleverly.
whole idea. Yeah, is you do the black propaganda to make it look like something. That's why I'm just like, you can't ever trust anything, especially when it comes to atrocity propaganda. When they mock us all the time about how we keep believing that there are atrocity propaganda stories in their books, but. People will read that. They'll see these courtroom sketch artist images in the future instead of reading actual books.
Well, this is just courtroom sketches, but I mean, the fact that they've been using video and AI and all sorts of things for, I mean, I don't want to get into the topic, but for Gaza and all the war and everything that's going on. Well, every war probably, but even Ukraine. I mean, there was many photos where there were actual mannequins.
Wait, you don't believe everything about Ukraine, Stella? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've had my illusions shattered, I'm afraid. I thought it was all legitimate. But they use mannequins and things in the background. It's just the pictures flash by so fast that nobody is going to pick up on that except for the very small handful of people like me who are going to stop every shot and look at everything.
Do you think those mannequins didn't have families that loved them?
I'm sure they did. They've lost their heart. They've lost their soul to the media.
Yeah. And they probably were part of the Azov battalion as well.
They're just rejected sex bots.
They have to go fight in Ukraine because they don't have any more people over there. The sex bots that nobody wants are the front lines of Ukraine.
That's right.
Not far away from. What's it like in Australia? Like, I know, like us, you're in the minority of because we're all conspiracy theorists here. But do people over there believe the narratives about Ukraine and other conflicts like that?
Oh, I don't speak to those people.
That's good.
Not at all.
It's very good.
I haven't watched an actual news, like free-to-air type news, which is the mainstream on the channels, on the television type thing. I can't remember the last time I watched that. It's years. It's definitely years.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
I mean, I'll watch news and things just to sort of try to figure out where they're at, like what they're trying to lead us into next, with Sky News, etc. But we all know, of course, that's another puppet show.
I love the Sky News. They always treat me so well.
They do.
Yes,
Michael wants to know if anybody's got a Neuralink implant yet and how it is, if you still have free agency. Mr. President, do you have one?
No, I don't have a Neuralink.
Are you sure?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah.
I think Elon must have a number of them.
That has got to be so scary to get one of those. You're probably right, Stella.
It's they're just all doing they're doing the Antichrist's work.
Yeah. Right. So Joe says that Ukraine, you lived in Ukraine, sex bots have been the main export for their entire 30-year history. The funniest part about that conflict to me is when there first started being refugees leaving Ukraine, is there was all these stories about how these men in the UK, and probably here also, but this was focused on the UK, were like, I'll take in one of the Ukrainian women. Yeah, we have room.
And some hairy grandmother turns up.
Yeah, right.
You should look up Brick Dollbanger.
No, I know all about Brick Dollbanger. He tests all the sex bots.
Telling Joe to look up Brick Dollbanger.
Yeah, look up Brick Dollbanger, Joe. That's
Did you hear that apparently there are plans to eradicate the clown emoji?
Why? It's racist?
Scary?
Because everybody's been using it, to like Clown World, and it's apparently some sort of, I don't know, right-wing weapon or something. So apparently,
like the Punisher. What is Clown World?
If they come for the gifts, that's it for me.
It's just just type in clown on your phone and clown gifts will come up. I don't know exactly which one it is, but if they do that, then people are just going to start using others in a way. I mean, it's like a troll.
They'll have to get rid of all the stickers and the gifts and, throw people in jail if they...
Everything, like the OK symbol.
That's racist, unless you're an NBA referee. I thought it was funny up until, I don't know if it's changed, but up until like a year and a half ago, the family emojis on the iPhone were, you could only have a husband and wife family that was white. There was no black husband and wife, but the single mother emoji, they only made, there's plenty of black ones there. And like, this is the most, like, why isn't the news calling this racist? They must not notice that you can only do a white mother-father household on the iPhone. But they probably changed it at this point.
Well, I've noticed actually a lot of the GIFs, where you go in and you're texting or whatever and you can insert a GIF. A lot of them are all black people. Like, there's not all that many. Like, it's far outweighed. Anyway, put it that way.
Yeah, you can look up. Ron Ogden's got a whole couple pages of GIFs.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, no, they had the fatherless families as a black mom and stuff. It was very easy thing to make racist. I guess nobody showed it to CNN. They've probably changed it by now. This is Gayle King, by the way, if you guys were wondering what that image was. She's 69 years old and on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She is in the show.
Is that Oprah's friend, Gayle King?
Probably.
Yeah, that's her. That's
there
her.
She is. Charles Barkley is going to be very, very hot and sweaty next time they do their show together.
The swimsuit edition.
Looks a bit photoshopped.
It does.
Makes me want to blow my brains out.
I just love how if you want to not go look at like a smoking hot chick,
go over to Sports Illustrated.
Go to Sports Illustrated.
That's changed.
What kid didn't have Sports Illustrated in their spank bank up until like 2017?
Right. Like now, though, it's going to be Gayle King. It's going to be
Lizzo.
What's the old lady?
A trans woman.
What's the lady who went to prison? Snoop Dogg's friend. She cooks all this shit.
P. Diddy?
No, she's like 80 years old. Martha Stewart. It's going to be Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Naked Martha Stewart. Just she's cooking in the shower like Kramer.
Probably. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen how drunk Kamala Harris was?
She's always drunk, isn't she?
That's
the only excuse I could think of.
She must get up and just start
that
drinking red
You
wine.
just made me think. That makes a lot of sense. I always wondered what was wrong with her. I didn't know that she was 6 ways from Sunday every time she got on television.
Don't you remember me sending you all those AI generated images of her holding 2 red wine glasses and like talking to children and driving with it? She's drunk all the time and like 2 Ambien deep. Watch this.
It's sort of the tranquilizer type drunk.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, this is a drunk person here.
So here's the thing about breaking barriers. Breaking barriers does not mean you start on one side of the barrier and you end up on the other side. There's breaking involved. And when you break things, you get cut. And you may bleed. And it is worth it every time.
She is hammered.
Every time. And so too, especially the young people here, I say to you, when you walk in those rooms, being the only one that looks like you, the only one with your background, you walk in those rooms, chin up, shoulders back. Be it a meeting room, a boardroom, a courtroom, a hearing room.
A kitchen.
You walk in those rooms knowing that we are all in that room with you, applauding you on, and expecting certain things from you, including that you will not be silent in those rooms.
Just little context. She's talking to Asian Americans who are probably like, these are college students who are probably like, already have like 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. What's this bitch talking to me about this for? Because the Asian minority, they call them the preferred minority, they do really well in this country. And she's talking to them like they're struggling. And maybe some of them are, but it's just kind of a weird speech to be giving to this crowd.
It's like she's so just overflowing with wisdom. Is she not?
She says nothing and
She's
so many
overflowing
words.
with wisdom.
It is maddening, totally.
And that we expect that from you because we also expect that you will internalize and know we're there with you.
God, this is the bitch you never want to get cornered by at 1 a.m. She won't shut up.
Yeah, you were trying to leave the party.
Yeah.
And you say goodbye to Kamala. That was a mistake.
So your voice can be strong. It is, as Alicia said, my mother would say to me, don't you ever let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
I'm glad
Don't
she defined
ever.
who Alicia was. Otherwise, none of us would have known what she was talking about.
I don't even know if that's correct, what she's saying. It sounds like
She
she
doesn't
said
either.
Alicia told her about her mom. Yeah.
Carry as a personal burden your capacity to do whatever you dream and aspire to do based on other people's limited
This is the
ability
best
to
here.
see who can do what.
What?
This is part of what's involved.
What's
is
this?
that we have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down.
Oh, wow.
Excuse my language.
What, all of it?
Let's do a cackle.
We gotta make T-shirts with that saying "Kick the door down."
We gotta make t-shirts.
I mean, she probably threw up all over that microphone before that clip ended.
Oh, man, she's something else, isn't she?
Yes, she certainly. Stella, do you know that she was Montel Williams' side chick? You know who Montel Williams is?
No, I don't. I'm sorry, no.
What was he? He's like a talk show host, Mr. President.
Yeah, he was like Jerry Springer type.
Yeah, he was very popular in the 90s, I think.
They'd have those, can you decide which one's the girl?
Here.
What was she doing? Like just a sort of wing person?
No, he was her. She was his side chick. He was banging her. So Kamala famously slept her way to her position. And here's...
I did hear that she'd taken the knee a number of times, yes.
You think she slept with Sleepy Joe?
I hope so. I hope so. So there it is, right? That's her right there. I mean, this is the vice president. This is like a red carpet event, and this brother's got shades on. He's like, I'm banging both these bitches. And Kamala was not... Yeah. That's her, dude. That's Kamala.
Wow. All right then. It's her pimp.
All right. Well, so I have one more story about the furries. We can save that for the end. What, Stella, is there anything that I know you'd sent me a text about something you've been working on?
Oh, yes. That's just a very new project. It's very infancy. It's a little thing called Whether or Not that I've started with a dude that I met in Jim Lee's Climate Viewer Telegram group. So Jim Lee's Climate Viewer channel is been around for quite a long time, and it's becoming quite large now because people are starting to realise, they're starting to look up at the skies and realise that there's some things going on that aren't ideal. And there's also a lot of grey areas of misunderstanding of information too, so including myself to a point. So this gentleman, Jeff, that I met in the group, he is ex-Navy meteorologist, and he really enjoys reading the weather and reading charts and everything. So,
he's an ex-meteorologist also, or a current meteorologist
Well, he was in the Navy doing the meteorologist type job,
Yeah.
and he's now retired. So,
All right, so he's doing the real weather over there.
yes,
in the military,
like pilots, depended on his information.
You know, there was seed in the clouds in San Francisco or in California doing experiments that they just stopped doing because it was like darkening the sky and messing with the clouds, and they just like, all right, we'll stop doing it.
Oh yeah, well, this is a whole.
HAARP.
There's a lot of information. It's a huge topic, so I would really recommend that, if people want to know about stuff, go to climateviewer.com because it's an incredible website. But my little thing is called Whether or Not, and we're just looking at we're looking forensically at the weather leading up to big events like the first one. Well, the only one we've done so far is the United Arab Emirates, and because a lot of people were saying that happened because of cloud seeding, all the floods there, but it wasn't. So that's what we do, because I am only interested in truth, as is Jeff, and I would really like all the the mythology to sort of fall away and find the actual crimes. Pardon?
Are you talking about HAARP?
That's part of it. HAARP and weather manipulation, stuff like that. There's a lot of different angles to it. There's been many government programs over here, I'm sure, in other countries as well. And there's a big Pandora's box there. And you tell people, you talk about that with people, and they think you're crazy. But then there's Operation Popeye, where we tried to create tsunamis or something, and I might be getting that part wrong, but we tried to we tried to take out the Viet Cong by affecting the ground there, because we had machines that could get through it and they didn't. And China has a weapons, or not, the weather manipulation bureau in their government. They've been doing this for at least 80 years, as we know, so definitely far, far longer. And people just look at you like you're crazy when you talk about that stuff.
Well, that's the thing, not so much anymore, because there's so much information coming out. I mean, people can't not notice what's going on, but a lot of things like HAARP, I'm not advocating that they're a good bunch of people doing great things, but they do get the blame for some things that they actually aren't doing, because the technology just isn't. It's not possible to do what they're sort of being blamed for, but I'm not saying that they're not doing stuff, but
CERN connected to HAARP, Denver Adway says.
I'm just wondering that too, with the astronomical portal question.
You're always thinking about that, aren't you, Mr.
I mean, CERN's an evil thing. It's an evil thing. That's why I went through the whole Mandela effect.
So do you think the God particle has been discovered, or the Higgs boson? Is that what it's called, Mr. President?
Higgs boson.
Higgs boson. So you guys have seen the New York portal, but haven't you? You have, Mr. President. Stella, they built a portal that looks like a portal, I think, in Times Square, that when they revealed it's a live stream to Dublin, I think. And you can kind of imagine what happened. Tits are flying up. One of the funniest ones was almost immediately somebody in Dublin, they put their phone up on the screen, and it's a video of the towers collapsing in New York.
Oh, Jesus.
Of course they did. That's awesome. So it's like a great big portal, like a Stargate type thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's because what you guys are talking about makes me think of that. Let's see if I can.
Yes, there's a lot of misinformation around, and I'm not part of the misinformation crew, don't get me wrong. Yeah, just interested in sorting out the real stuff. So
And
that
you
we
know
can
somebody who like that's his
knuckle down
profession
and
is weather stuff. That's good. That's interesting.
yeah. So that's on the Stella Q YouTube channel at this point.
Check it out for sure. Stella does a lot of great shows, and always has interesting insight. Very, very funny. Here is so this is the portal. It's like TikTok style video. Make it bigger.
Oh wow! Okay. So Dublin must be the sister city, I'm going to guess.
Yeah,
to
I
New
think
York
it's
City?
a sister city thing.
Right.
Hey, where's that? Where's
What, for them to have a FaceTime channel too?
It's basically a big FaceTime camera that looks like a portal. Yeah.
You know what
But
it
it's a
looks
live
like?
stream.
It looks like that thing that they're getting everybody to look into to scan their iris.
Oh, here it is, right here.
What's the name
Oh,
of that?
totally. You're right.
Oh, okay, it's not round. It's just right. Got it.
Yeah. So there's the towers. The guy puts
Not
the
a big
camera in the phone. I don't know who this guy is. It's pretty good
The
trolling.
guy
on there.
reacting to it like Ian.
Now they must know people are going to troll. You'd think that they would have been prepared for that.
yeah.
Maybe that's what they want.
And they've already got the memes too on some of these things. They're because one chick went in front of it and showed her tits, and so somebody took that image of her showing her tits. And I don't know if you saw the video of the old man who's obviously got some problems, shoving a gas tank, a gas pump that's spewing gas, first shoving it in his ass, and then trying to put it on his dick. They put an image of that guy. They photoshopped that there, so it looks like the girl is showing her tits and the guy is having sex with a gas pump. I mean, this is modern society right now. This is what people do when you create portals.
It's incredible, isn't it? When you sort of look back to pre-2020 and then you look at where we are now, it's like it's been inverted.
It really has, man. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, it's CERN's fault. It's gonna be Planet of the Apes before too long.
Hey, Mr. President.
Well, there was a new movie come out recently, wasn't there?
Oh yeah,
Planet of the Apes.
The Rise of the Planet of the Apes or whatever.
Is that? Can you do that?
Can you do what?
There was remember the video last week of the college kid yelling at it was a bigger black girl who was doing some like annoying protesting, and all these fraternity brothers that looked like her yelling at her, and everybody's just yelling, and it's just college kids yelling at each other, and then one of them had to start making monkey sounds. And I don't even think the kid was trying to be racist when I watched it. I think the kid was just being obnoxious, because the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my God. But then I said, oh shit, people are going to say he's trying to do a racist thing. And the kid got kicked out of his fraternity after the fact because the media portrayed him as going up to this protester and doing monkey sounds. When I think maybe he was. I mean, that's stupid. Don't do monkey sounds. It's dumb. But I think he was just being an idiot, and that's just what came out. It's like every time you do a monkey sound doesn't mean it's for a racist reason, you know?
Wow. It's just why don't we just gaffer tape our mouths shut and we'll be all fine.
Like this is a funny comment here. Irie says, I seed women like the government seeds clowns just out here spraying. There's chemtrails that follow you everywhere with what you're doing. But yeah, so what the guy, I can't remember, Anthony Robbins, he probably still does these workshops. He teaches presidents NLP, natural language stuff, like how to manipulate people basically with words. But he would do these workshops, and what he would do on all these people, he's very, very popular. They would come to his workshops, and he'd go, everybody stand up. All the Mexican people stand up. All the black people. Like he would call out every single race. And then he'd say, now I want everybody at the same time to say, and then he'd say the N-word. And he'd say, I want you to be silly and shout the N-word. I want you to be silly and shout Mexican. So he would go through every slur that, you could think of, at least for the workshop, like a dozen of them. And he would just get people to act silly and shout these words to take the power away from them, to get over that hurdle of identity, politics, and reacting to these words that are just injected by the media. And I thought it was kind of brilliant the first time I watched it. Yeah. Because it disempowers it. If people aren't affected by it, that's where the power is. That's try and true, put actually, these. Yeah.
Because they're actually putting different connotations and power into it. Now let's look at the word gay. it was only, I don't know, 50s, 60s. Probably, when would that have become about homosexuality? I think that was probably pushed in the late 70s, maybe. I'm not sure. It could have been earlier than that. Anybody in the chat, if you know. But it used to mean happy. It used to mean, happy with the world.
Yeah, they're always doing
lighthearted,
that too, co-opting
happy and gay.
language. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they put these new, connotations onto things. And also, it's hard to do some research now because just about every term that you come up with or every word you want to search, there's a movie called that or a video game or something.
You got to do these like specific searches. And Mr. President, I know you had a long day and you might need to go get some sleep or go talk to Melania or go tuck your son Barron in. I don't know where you get a bed that
Tuck
big.
something in.
Yeah. But we'll chat a little bit, probably go through this furry thing, and you can stick around and you can dip out, Mr. President.
Well, Brad, I got a lot of things going on. I do have Wednesdays off. So I got court Thursday.
Right. Yeah. Where can people find you?
Back to court.
People can find me at The Real Donald Trump.
They're on Truth Social, The Real Donald Trump.
Truth Social, yep. Just tweet at me and say, hey, I saw you on Brad's show.
Yep.
And make sure you tag Brad's show on Truth Social.
Yeah. Call it. Yeah, you beautiful faggot. They can call you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you won't even say it, will you, Mr. President?
I'm not gonna say it. I got a presidency to think about.
I see. Denver says fag used to mean cigarette. Yeah, I
true. In Europe, it did mean cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've smoked a lot of fags.
Judging from these court sketches, that you definitely need to go and get some beauty sleep, Mr. McDonald Trump.
Because there's no telling what you're going to look like tomorrow, based on these sketches.
I mean, look at these bags under my eyes.
Is your body twisted around right now? Are your legs facing the other way?
It's the court.
No, but I did have a Lazy Susan installed between my hips and my stomach, so I can just.
You can swivel.
Spin right around.
So that's what's going on in the courtroom. Now
sometimes it's uncontrollable. I just start drifting.
Action Show Studios is where you can find some great work that Mr. President is associated with. Check it out. And what was it, Mitch Landstrong on X, if you want to follow there.
Mitch Landstrong 6. It's not ever used, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, check it out. So thank you for joining us, Mr. President.
Hey, if you want to see some weird pictures, go to Jarsh's Drawings on Instagram.
Yeah, and he means weird, like creative weird, not Joe Biden type
awesome.
weird.
Yeah, not like people sniffing each other. But
yeah,
like
none of that.
Stuff.
Yeah, you guys are both artists. We should do like a sketch draw.
Sketch off?
Yeah, sketch off. I'll do it too, so I'll finish last.
Stella, you're really good.
I don't know. Yeah, look
I want some courtroom pictures from you, though.
Some quoodles. All right, I think that can be arranged.
That would be funny.
Good luck in court, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, wish you luck.
I'll be rooting for you.
I appreciate you, Stella. You're always so kind and sweet and beautiful, unlike that Brad.
Oh yes, he's terrible, isn't he? No, I am saluting right now, sir.
Yeah, give Vivek a kiss goodnight for me. I know he's.
I'm gonna go tuck Vivek in. He's staying in my drawers like those Asians from that Seinfeld episode.
He's very tiny. People don't realize.
Yeah, I can just carry him around. Sometimes I give him to Barron, and Barron takes him from one place to the other.
He's like a pet for you guys.
Yeah,
puts him up somewhere
I got
high.
him for Barron, actually.
You got Vivek for Barron?
Yeah, I told Barron, I said, you're not going to be able to get a dog or anything else, so you can learn how to take care of a Vivek.
And he became such a great ally for you. You never knew. What a great product.
Yeah, we carry him around in a baby Bjorn. It's great.
That's fantastic, Mr. President. All right.
Where we go one, we go all. Let's make America great again. I am the storm. I'll see you later.
All right, we'll see you. The storm's coming always. Definitely committed to the storm, the president. See you later, Mr. President. Stella, I'm so glad that
it's an experience.
He's such a down-to-earth guy who apparently does watch TV all the time, like they say.
Yep. Seems like a very nice man, just not any sketches.
Right. So your show you're doing, I think that's super cool. That's, to me, I've always thought it was funny how they separate, at least in the mainstream, climate change with all of the history of weather manipulation. It's like none of that exists. So we'll blame weather anomalies that we say are anomalies, whether they're probably not. We'll blame it on this climate change, just completely ignoring weather manipulation machines, the Bureau of Weather Control in China, Operation Pop. It's just like, I know that they get away with it because most of our viewers don't know anything about that stuff.
Absolutely. It's been going on for a long time. I think it was 1946 they sort of started doing it, openly. My mother remembers it from back in the 40s here in Australia. She used to be on a big property. They were managing a huge sheep property, and she remembers that, when the government started talking to the farmers about, we're going to be doing cloud seeding, it means you're going to have rain, and everyone thought it was a fantastic idea. Nobody really thought, what are you doing to the planet? Like nobody thought that. It was just, thank God we're in
It's just
drought.
like, So, that is so funny to me. It's just I think you really kind of really don't know what's going to happen when you start messing with forces like that. I know clouds and rain don't seem as harmless, but then there's floods and then, lightning, thunder, that to me, I'm like, I'm going to stay away from this natural world that I really don't know what I can trigger. And they just blame it on, you're not recycling enough, even though recycling is proven to do absolutely nothing.
That's the thing. There is definitely climate change, but they are trying to blame it on, since the Industrial Revolution, right? So that's their rhetoric, and it gives them a whole bunch of reasons to do a whole bunch of things. We all know that now. But there is definitely climate change, but it's a natural thing, and
It's not because of a gas stove. It's not because of a fuel.
No. We don't need more wind things, and we don't need to kill koalas to put up wind things so that we can save the planet. No.
Which is why I save up everything that other people recycle. I save it for like 6 months, and then I go to the beach and I dump it all in the ocean.
As you should. Make those gyres great again.
Right. Yeah, I'll dive in. Like I only learned to swim because I wanted to put those things you pull the six cans. I pull one off at a time because I dive in. I find a fish and I wrap its head around it.
Look, you could get 6 fish into one of those things. It's
you
very
bring
efficient.
in a family closer when you do that.
That's right. See, these are the things. It's quite extraordinary, isn't it? These elite creatures telling us that what we should and shouldn't do, and etc.
They're so
when
full
really,
of shit.
they should be sort of kind of doing things like regulating plastic usage, or if they're going to have to regulate something. I'm not all for regulation, of course, but cleaning up the oceans and that sort of thing. That does affect the weather, actually.
I don't even think. I don't think they even have evidence behind some of these things. They just do this bullshit for whatever reason. I mean, nothing that their science is so broken, and there is an opposite scientific finding for every absolute scientific finding that they use to back policy that they put into place to compel action. You can find a dozen that say the opposite. They don't care. They just highlight the ones that push whatever they want to push because it puts money in their pockets somehow, lifts them up politically. Fauci's full of shit. Fauci's a propagandist, not a fucking doctor. Denver, by the way, says there are more variables than humans can quantify in the ecosystem. Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%. Yep. This is the thing. I mean, they're just trying to play God. They're just doing experiments to... nobody sort of talks too much about things like just, air travel. A lot of people who are up in arms about the, the chemtrails, they're spraying us like bugs. But they don't think twice about getting on a plane and going and, having a holiday or visiting. If you're really concerned about it...
The door blows off the plane. Every plane goes up in the sky now.
Yeah, that's the thing. But, it's a lot of it is just basically normal air travel because the jet fuel itself is actually a really big problem. So the normal everyday passenger jets, not the, the government spraying us like bugs, those sort of things are, creating a problem. So, if you're really concerned, just drive. Don't take a plane.
Right. I do drive, actually. I drive all the time. I much prefer driving.
Yeah. But then the thing is, if you don't take air travel or whatever, that's sort of doing what they want us to do as well. So it's such a dichotomy.
That's how I've been that way for like a long time before I even started doing that. And the past year or so, I'm on the middle of the highway traveling. Doors blow right off my truck every single time.
Yeah, Erie B just brought up a really good point. Never mind the nukes that have been, experimented into the ozone layer. And, every time a rocket goes out there, can you imagine the pollution and, volcanoes go off? What are they going to do? Stick a cork in them? I don't know. It's just...
they'll try to get Biden to fuck it, but he won't be able
crazy.
to keep it up.
Yeah.
So this is a story I was talking about earlier, and I don't know much about it. I just heard a little bit about it, but I thought it would interest you.
Bill Gates is behind a lot of this.
Bay Area host.
What a shocker.
Is he? Is Bill Gates behind this? Do you know?
Dimming the sun and stuff. Yeah, so they say, but I also think he's a puppet face for a lot of things too, isn't he? So
this one in the Bay Area where they had the first in the nation experiment to slow global warming by helping clouds deflect sunlight. Yeah, so that's the Bill Gates
that's cloud brightening.
Sun. Okay.
So what they do is cloud brightening. They put
clouds,
like a salt sort of, well, I think it is just salt, into the air, and it's meant to, brighten the clouds and reflect the sunlight back. I mean, does that sound normal? That sounds so insane.
Sounds really safe.
And putting great big huge mirrors and things into space, to reflect. These are all just propositions, but I mean, it's just insanity. Absolute insanity.
And then if you subscribe to simulation theory, which a lot of people do, then doing stuff like this, I think, is just going to piss off people who can just, unplug the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, the military they are very high polluters, but they will never be held accountable because that's the military.
They rationalize it. They say we're doing more to eliminate the bad stuff, just like they do with John Kerry flies his private jet. I'm doing more to get rid of climate change, so I deserve to have that. Whatever. I don't even know what a carbon footprint is. If there's any, but just their reasoning that it's okay because we are making a bigger impact.
Carbon footprint was actually created and marketed by BP back in about 2004-5. Purely to put, this was the very start of the psychological warfare on us, actually, with as far as, well, not the start, but definitely heavying. It was to make people feel like it's their fault. Your carbon footprint, you have to do all these things, you individuals, to cover what the the refining, the mining industry and all that spurting out. So they can pollute, but it's all our fault.
Yeah, that's why we can't find Bigfoot. His carbon footprint was so big, he felt so much shame, went into isolation.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, try taking a cast of that thing. But, what have we got here? Furries?
I love a good furry story.
I know you do.
Let's get to furry story. My favorite still, it's going to take a lot to top it, is the fight between the furries and the non-furries on the beach. There's video of it, and it's just a fantastic story. But we'll see if this one tops it. From the Daily Mail, how furry convention descended into orgy of sex, violence, and destruction as diaper-clad adults dressed as cuddly animals trashed host hotel. I see that headline and I think, is that not the point of a furry convention? How does it descend into the very thing they go there to do?
It's just an animal husbandry meetup.
Right. Like, it would be more of a story to me if it said how furry convention didn't end up descending into orgy of sex and violence. Because how does that not happen? It's called the Rainforest. See that? RAINFURREST. That's funny. It began in 2015, and 2015?
Of course they had to incorporate forests because there'd be plenty of trees for all the dog furries.
So they've been right. They're gonna piss on all the trees and shit. They have a lot of crates.
I wonder how many people dress up as trees to go to the dog furry.
Just because they love being peed on. It's like, do I go be a Russian prostitute that Trump pees on, or do I just be a tree?
That's right.
To this day, the 4-day event still stands as the 6th largest furry con in history. That to me is like, I am going to go on a deep dive of the top 5 furry cons after the show, seeing that. But Tales of Debauchery.
Makes you want to.
I know. Like, what's the ultimate legendary furry con that if you're a furry and you don't know about, you're not a furry?
What's the one at the top?
A dog, probably. The failure of Rainforest 2015 is one for the books. I guess a retelling this. and it saw the often sex-crazed subculture of furries cast into the public eye. So that's when we first found out about them. Well, most people anyway. It was meant to be an annual convention designed for and by furries. I think that's probably usually the case. It's not probably a convention designed by normal people for furries, or a convention designed by furries for normal people. That would be weird.
Good point. Yeah. I think this whole thing has been created by a bunch of women who sew furry costumes. They've made
it's
them
just
mozza.
like, what am I going to do with these costumes I made? Why don't we start a subculture where people dress like dogs and hump each other?
I think Disney might be behind this. It's all these extra
totally
costumes
Disney
from these
shit.
old movies and things. Yeah,
Right. Absolutely.
selling off the old wardrobe.
Got to find a way to cash in. Okay, it says here, the debauchery that ensued left animal-loving organizers banned from ever holding another event in the city of Seattle, after brass at the hotel they defiled spread word about what happened at the social gathering. Permanently plastered in the annals of internet history, the event started to go off the rails when someone purposely loosened a bolt on one of the Hilton Seattle Airport and Conference Center toilets, causing it to flood instantly. Little sabotage.
Poor Seattle. So they're going to lose the only thing they've got going for them. Wow.
If you get kicked out of Seattle, we'll take
Same
Antifa,
thing.
we'll take everybody, but not the furries.
What are they going to do there now?
The floor was soon filled with 2 inches of toilet water. The first sign host had overstayed their wholesomeness of their guests, which that's what dogs do, though. They use the bathroom on the floor. Things got worse from there as attendees indulged in drinking drugs.
They obviously didn't supply kitty litter boxes, or
that is a learning. That's a lesson for Seattle, not for them.
It is.
Animals
They
are
need to pick
animals.
up their game.
Yeah, don't blame a dog for being a dog. A series of arrests. Oh wait, things got worse as they got drunk and did drugs. Again, if you're in a furry costume and you're not drinking and doing drugs, that's the real problem.
A drunk furry.
I'm a sober. No, I'm a totally sober furry. Straight-laced, except for when I'm a furry. A series of arrests ensued as attendees donned diapers and even went as far.
What?
Oh, well, you liked my furry outfit. Wait till I come back out in a diaper. Like, can you imagine the closet of these people?
And what's the next bit? Even went as far as to defecate in a pool.
Yeah.
Well,
of course.
I should have expected that.
A hot tub was also flooded when a person shoved towels into the pump, filling it with. So if you're a furry, you should only do things that dogs can do. You should not act. You should act like you don't have thumbs. So you should not be stuffing things because dogs couldn't do that.
I think they were just all in the hot tub and just, they shed their fur and it just clogged up the pump.
Maybe they were having
It wasn't towels.
That's true. It was red rockets is what it was.
They're shedding their summer coat.
After receiving a bill for more than $100,000 in damages, organizers would eventually issue a cryptic statement as to why the event was called off permanently. I think it's pretty obvious why. So here's an image here of looks like 5 furries in a row. Like there's probably kids that live in this
like
town.
a nightmare to me.
And one of them appears to be wearing a princess robe.
It's like 3 Nights at Freddy's. Do you know what I mean when I say 3 Nights at Freddy's?
Is that a movie?
I don't know. It used to be it was a game that I had. It was an application movie.
Yeah, it was a game.
It was really quite scary.
The thing that's crazy, it does look like that, is that these people have regular jobs.
Yeah, presidents, judges, lawyers.
Biden staffer, Department of Defense, head or something like that. Because there was somebody like that. So this used to be, I talk about this a lot, this used to be the kind of thing if you do it, you try and prevent people from finding out as much as possible, except for other people like that, because you might lose your job or never get hired. But now this has become something that you feature at the top of your resume. Oh, you're a furry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll hire. It's a DEI hire. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yep. If you're not hired for being a furry, there's big trouble.
Oh, here's a video.
Oh, wow. What was the Anubis? There was an Anubis costume. That's taking it to another level.
Yeah, here's some of the... Let's mute that. Where do you get these costumes?
Oh, China's happy.
This is a niche,
I would say
man.
probably China.
Yeah. No, I'm going to start drop shipping furry costumes.
And they were all so different. This is the thing. Like, there's no repeats. It's like, did they ring each other and say, "What are you wearing tonight?"
I want to see
I
who's.
go
I want
as
to
a
see
Great
who is
Dane.
in this. Yeah. So look at this guy as a Great Dane. This guy here. So this guy's like a conservative furry right here. Look at this guy.
Oh, that's slack. Not much effort there.
What is that? He's wearing like a vest. He's like a banker. He's like, I'll put the dog hat on, but I'm not wearing any of that weird shit.
Security.
Yeah, he is not. Gonna
Probably his
fit
first
in.
con, I'd say.
Because there's got to be a first.
It has to be a first.
That's a movie, right?
Learn the
there.
ropes.
Yeah, it's your first time deciding to do it.
Your very first furry. It could be a golden book.
Like that. She's just wearing shorts. That's just a person with a dog hat on.
It could be a dog in a human outfit. I'm not sure.
That's true. That's true. I
It
feel
could
like
be
they
that
would
chick
discriminate.
Gomez. I think it's that Gomez chick, actually.
What is this guy doing showing his face? She would be a great furry, wouldn't she? Very aggressive.
Furries with machine guns. Now there's another level of rebellion.
Where was the dude who is that? It looks like a bunny rabbit to me.
A blind bunny rabbit.
Showed his face. Did you see that a second ago? I don't know where the timestamp is. But there was a guy here who had a... Here he is. He's coming up.
That furry had a pet human. That was nice.
That would be nice. So this guy, I don't understand this guy. I understand that he's... So that Coke bottle... There's a 0 chance that Coke bottle he's carrying is not filled with alcohol.
Yep.
But why put the outfit on and not cover your... I mean, this guy's showing his face.
Giselle Maxwell, I think. Yeah, he got the costume that, oh, damn, it's the faceless one. I didn't mean to get that one. So he just had to wear it.
No sitting and pee in a furry costume, says Ari. I imagine that there's just no rules for, for being sanitary when you're in the furry costume.
Where are they all going? Where are they walking to?
I think to the rape room, if I had to guess. They are going somewhere very directed, aren't they? There's clearly some sort of...
They're on parade. Yep.
Maybe it's like these like the libertarian conventions. They have to do like 9 hours one day of the rules and stuff. People who are members of the party. Maybe they're going to the furry rules meeting.
Davos.
Davos
for dogs.
Davos for dogs. There probably is.
Oh, a fluoro furry.
You know Klaus Schwab is in that group. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Gates, all of them.
So we get here now where they says what happened.
Michael, what's his name? Mark
Michael
Puppyberg? Is it?
Rappaport?
Never mind. I was doing a Zuckerberg pun.
Oh yeah.
Mark Puppyberg. Never mind. It's not worth it. Let's move on.
Zuckerberg. Yeah. He knows Zuckerberg. He's into all this shit. It says, okay, let's start with why the Rainforest Board is so quiet. Wait a minute, let me back that up. So what happened? Asked an event organizer, and all the events that followed were that caused them to be canceled. Okay, let's start with why was the Rainforest Board so quiet? The man who identifies as an African civet. Is that how you say that? That's why I was having a hard time reading that. So this is
African
a person.
civet.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what they do with African civets?
No.
The African civet is the thing that they feed a coffee bean to it, and then it poos it out, and then the coffee is worth a fortune. And then elite idiots buy it.
Oh my God.
So that's what
You're
they do with
probably
civets.
right.
Yeah.
You're probably right about that.
No, it's a thing. I swear. It is true.
Is an African civet? It's a dog, I'm guessing. No, okay, so this is
not quite a dog. It's more like
just to give you guys an image of who is being quoted here. Let me show you what an African civet is. It looks like some sort of raccoon. Or
yeah, like
that.
a raccoon,
Yeah.
red panda, hyena got together and had a furry.
Yeah, so that's our inside source here. That's who's telling us about what the hell
the
happened.
guy that dresses as an African civet.
What ruined it for all of the furries? He was speaking to a crowd in Vancouver. He said the Rainforest Board was quiet. So he's retelling what happened at, I guess, this year's convention. The Rainforest Board was quiet because we got a letter from the hotel. The hotel said, you guys are going to send us a letter telling us you're canceling your event. And if you don't, we're going to pretend like you did and charge you a cancellation fee. That's quite a threat. It was like $100,000 or something. I don't remember the exact amount. And then, of course, they call them they. That must be the pronouns. And then they said, and then we're going to sue you for that amount of money. So they wanted us out. It's so confusing with the pronouns.
Isn't it?
Why do you want us out? He asked his fellow furries. Well, we'll get into that. Dressed in normal getup, the man behind the other furry festivals like Califer, Rainforest, Vancouver Fur, and Fur, these are all the other festivals, proceeded to explain just what had gone wrong a few months earlier. Man, this is what we were curious about earlier. This is a furry with a dog mask on and also a diaper on with no pants, if you're looking at the screen.
It just gets worse and worse.
This man has a family who hopefully doesn't know about any of this.
Yeah. They do now.
Look at this guy. This guy looks like he's just frustrated that he hasn't gotten a D to suck yet with the way he's looking around. He's like, oh, come on.
On his knees?
Yes, he is.
Oh, dear.
And here's some urine outside of a hotel door.
No, I think that's where a furry walked up and just lifted its leg on the door.
I mean, it's just like, give me an excuse for being drunk and just pissing wherever. Now, here is somebody, somebody is crawling out of a trash can in this image. Did they bring their own trash can with them, or was that already there, I wonder?
I suspect that's probably someone who came as Oscar.
Can you imagine just happen to be a random person staying in this hotel?
You'd have to be pretty random, I think. Yeah.
This is a furry who has a Compton hat on, who is flicking us off.
There's an unconscious furry.
That is definitely an unconscious furry.
Like a Yogi Bear, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a big furry. These things, I've worn a costume for a film shoot before. They're super, like, it's hot. It's
yeah.
It's awful.
They're usually made of foam and horrible synthetic stuff.
It's terrible,
so,
yeah. Yep. I did really feel, like the animal dog. Really considered maybe going to one of these.
Needs to be like air conditioned.
Yeah, no, I felt like I needed to find someone to walk me like these furries do. They have people, the ones that they're dogs, they have people that are their people that walk them.
Yes. Yes. I have nothing to say to that.
That's a true thing.
Nothing at all.
So the first thing that was discussed was we do sign the letter or we get the lawyer, whatever. And if we fought and we won, where will we be? Come on, get the details. So we decided they were going to say no, but unfortunately they had to split the board, whatever that is. And they told everybody what happened, and so they were going to try and get a new venue. That's the reason everybody panicked, because they were getting kicked out, so they needed a new venue. So the news spread about the cancellation, and it incited a furry riot, it sounds like.
Try the pound.
They should have called animal control.
Yeah,
they could go to the pound.
They really should have.
Do you have an abandoned pound anywhere?
Yep. Let's take them all out and give them their, what is it? They give them 7 days for adoption or something. And then it's bye-bye furry.
They better go to the no-kill shelter with these guys. So they tried to find somewhere, they couldn't find anything. I would say if you're getting kicked out of a hotel because you're pissing on the floor, having sex with the jets in a hot tub, popping out of trash cans, word might spread to other local establishments.
Oh, the offers would come thick and fast, wouldn't they?
Wow. Yeah, this is a Hilton hotel.
A Hilton?
Look at this. Look at all these furries.
Are these all the ones that used to live in Paris Hilton's handbag? I'm not sure. Are they all just grown up now?
I will say this. It's not easy to get a bunch of dogs to sit still for a photo like that.
That is quite a feat, yes. Or should I say paw?
It's quite a paw, yes. That's what they accomplished there. 100. So now there's a furry getting in the pool.
Oh, look, I maybe that's a new career that I can consider. Furry grooming. Oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? I just thought about what I said. I meant, making them look good.
I know what you meant. Yeah. I had this idea for a movie I probably told one here before where it's about this, it's like a group of kids, maybe between 9 and 11, 10, 12 maybe. They all live in the neighborhood together, but one of them, their parents told them, well, we're moving out. because we got to lien. We can't pay the mortgage, so our house is going to be bought in foreclosure. And so the parents have given up, all the parents, but the kids get together and they say, we have one summer to save our friend's house. And since they're all best friends, they decide to start taking care of the animals around the neighborhood and cutting their hair and washing them and stuff like that, and raising all the money to be able to buy their friend's house. And the movie's called Child Groomers.
Nobody really thought about that one much, did they?
No, it's not real. I just made that up. I think.
Okay. Look,
yeah, no, it's not an actual
surprise
movie.
me. It really would not surprise me. Everything is so confounded and confused and inverted.
This is the organizer of the
Which is
event
the whole
right here.
point.
No,
Isn't it? That's the whole point, isn't it? It's just to make everyone so confused and so unsettled and so ungrounded.
You think you think there's a lot of furries in third world countries? You think people are starving for food and also a furry anywhere?
I think Japan quite go for the furry thing, don't they?
That's true.
The collie was a Japanese
they're not third
dog.
world, though.
You wouldn't want to be a furry in Thailand, though, or China, maybe.
You'll end up in the dinner, right? Experiment.
You could
So
end
it
up
sounds
with
like they
vegetables
told us
as your best
everything.
friends. What about vegetables? Do people dress up as vegetables and have vegetable conventions, or?
And they make a salad
veg out together?
They'll jump in a giant bowl and take a picture of the salad, probably.
Okay, everyone in the blender.
I like this image where this guy, so the last guy had the furry dog head on and then had the diaper on his human skin. This guy has the full furry outfit on and has the diaper on over the furry outfit.
That is like the super furry.
Yeah, totally.
Superhero furry.
I love these guys over his shoulder who are exchanging phone numbers.
There must be big. There's probably really big money in this.
There's
got to be a reason.
absolutely. There's no way that this hotel did not know what they were getting into.
They probably wanted to redecorate, and it's like, okay, bring the furries in. Let's trash the place, and their insurance done.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
Now we have a bald eagle and
Bob's
somebody.
also a furry, but never mind. The bald eagle. Oh, I like the bald eagle.
Why his face is censored out? He has a furry head on.
They fuzzed a furry.
Yeah, they censored his furry face out.
Just in case somebody recognized him.
And that's what I was wondering in that picture of all the furry friends together. Like, you look at old pictures and you see all your buddies. Do they know who everybody is in those costumes?
There's Uncle Fido and Snoopy. Yeah, kind of crazy. It's a nice stunt. I think the think tanks have done well with this one.
Yeah, you see, this guy here is in the bathroom, and
Costume industry is, doing very well out of
pointing
it.
to the furry. What the fuck?
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's got to be a moment there, because furries date non-furries. We found that out with one of these recent furry stories. So there has to be a point in time in the relationship when the furry says, I feel comfortable enough with this person to reveal that I am furry to them because I think that they will accept it.
The sickness has gone on that far. It's reached that level that they feel okay. It makes me want to go into taxidermy. Really. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if these people, when they pass, are they buried as their furry self?
I think their heads are mounted on a wall.
What the fuck is what the fuck is that thing?
Oh, is that a red heifer?
Looks like it.
It's a
these
furry
things are
old world, isn't it?
expensive. This is an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So they have good jobs or big inheritances. Can you imagine your boss is a furry? Like you're working for someone who is a furry during his off hours.
Oh, just barking orders at you all day long.
All day long. I'd be like, man. All right, I'm not going to go through the rest of that. They flooded the toilets, they fucked the jets, and they got kicked out.
And they shed their fur everywhere.
It's disgusting. So,
terrible.
Stella, what can we do to cleanse our palate from that disturbed corner of reality?
That's a really good question. Where can we go from here? Where do you go after a furry convention?
I just... they always talk about if aliens are looking down on us, which humans are they basing what they think humanity is like?
It's the furries.
I mean, if they're tearing up Hilton hotels like they own it, I think that's part of it. I think it could be confusing, though.
I think that's why they haven't landed here yet, really.
Do you think there's aliens, and do you think that our weirdness is why they haven't? I know some people do think that.
I think we're all aliens. We are the aliens.
Yeah, we could have come from another planet. You're right. We're aliens to other planets, perhaps. Do you guys listening? Do you guys believe that there is life forms elsewhere, whether we found it or haven't found it, or whether it's microorganisms? Me personally, I don't believe the UAP narratives are telling us. I think there's probably life somewhere. I think there's probably interdimensional shit. I think we know nothing about anything, honestly.
I think it's a lot of it is because they're always telling us to look out there. I think a lot of it's subterranean, personally.
You think? So you think it's coming from the ocean?
Underground.
Right.
Well, under ocean, underground. Ghislaine Maxwell was involved in Terramar, which just before when she got nabbed, and that had to close down. Terramar it was a project, an under the ocean project, Ocean Life, because she just loved the ocean so much. There was a UK branch of it and an American branch, and there was something definitely going on in the ocean, definitely.
Totally.
Ocean real estate is actually quite a big industry now too.
And they say we know 5%. I don't know how they could know that, but I don't think we know anything about the ocean. So when I had a guest on who was doing the Bigfoot documentary, and as a skeptic, I kind of had I am not closed-minded to anything, but I'm skeptical about everything. And the way that I kind of framed it in the beginning was the ocean and the number of species that were discovered last year. It was like 140 new species were found that no human had ever encountered before ever until last year. So is it plausible that there are species that exist on a planet with us that no human has ever come face to face with? Absolutely.
100%. It's possible.
Totally. So it's not. I am not one to say that people who might have think they've come in, face to face with something isn't real just because I haven't. Of course, that's plausible. And the species in the ocean that they find, at least that they show us, look like what you would see in a sci-fi movie. I mean, they're so weird. Like you can't even imagine some of these things before they show them to us if they're real. Some people probably have some more personal experience with them.
Oh, they're amazing, those deep sea creatures. Yeah, we have no idea. We have such little idea of what's going on our own planet and such little idea of how to make things better. Well, actually, that's not quite true. It's just such little incentive for the people who have the money.
Yeah. It's also, there are frequencies that we can't hear, that dogs can hear, that other animals can hear. And there are... Yeah, exactly. So there's visual aspects that we can't see that other animals can see. So there could be conversations going on between animals or what creatures that see each other and hear each other right in front of us, and we have no idea about it.
Yeah, actually, I've noticed quite a bit of. I haven't really looked into it, and it's something that I do have on my spike to look into. Is there's a lot of more stuff going on about animal communication, and they're finding quite a few interesting things there.
Yeah.
Because we think that we know everything about everything, don't we?
We
It's
don't
like,
know shit about
when an animal
shit.
does this, it means this. It's like, well, how do you know that?
Yeah,
how could
we
you
don't
read
know
its mind?
shit.
Animals probably sitting there going, "You don't know shit."
And they don't. They have no idea. Like we wouldn't know if we think we're the smartest, but we wouldn't know if we weren't the smartest. It's like dogs don't know they're not the smartest.
Somehow we ended up at the top of the food chain.
we think we're at the top of the food chain.
Yeah,
at least
true.
from our own perception, our own experience. That Titan submersible. I know I did a show on this, but everybody involved in that Titan submersible that they say imploded had some sort of extra experience searching for extraterrestrials and some sort of like Illuminati Freemason history. One of them, the guy who built it, was from the what's the ship that came over, the original ship that brought the people from Britain over here. I can't remember what it's called.
It's a little bit too long for me too. I did a story on this as well, but
yeah, it's the first ship. It would come to mind if I wasn't so tired. But then another guy was part of SETI with NASA.
Yes,
the guy who's him and his son. And then there's another guy who was the first dude to create a business flight to Antarctica and took Buzz Aldrin to Antarctica for the first. They all were searching for extraterrestrial life when this thing imploded. And I think they were searching in the ocean. and I think they were a test crew for the one that they want to send up to a planet called Titan, where there's a fucking model on the NASA website. There's like blueprints that are this thing. They say NASA wasn't involved. There's literal blueprints, or there were. I showed them on the show, of this thing that they wanted to test in these really high stress, deep, dark waters because they needed it to be mobile enough to go to this moon Titan. And I can't remember the other planet they wanted to go to, and also strong enough to operate in those harsh waters where they believe alien life is. At least they say it. It could all be bullshit sci-fi.
I'll tell you something. I don't believe that those people died in that thing.
I don't either necessarily. I'm not convinced.
Because let's think about this. Let's think about this logically. They were very, very rich people. Like some of them were super uber rich.
Absolutely.
Now, you're not going to stick a whole bunch
of
very rich...
Sorry, it was the Mayflower.
Mayflower, right, okay. You're not going to stick a bunch of very rich, very important people into a little thing that's, basically hasn't really been tested properly with a bunch of, phones and things? Because there's some speculation that it was the lithium batteries in the phones and gadgets. I don't think they would have even been allowed to take them down there.
Were they connected to 5G? How far does 5G work? Maybe that's all they were doing.
Well, I don't know, but look, it just reeks of absolute BS to me. There's no way that they would have let those people go down.
I'm on the wreckage of the Titanic on Pornhub. It's so good, the 5G down here. No, you're right. That old story. They haven't given a clear explanation to. They say it's some. I don't buy it.
Neil the grass-fed bison. Haven't heard that one. That's good. Yeah. No, I just think it's just so much crap, and I don't know. I know this sounds really tinfoily, but whatever. I don't care now. I think a lot of them are sort of doing their little departures from this world, but they're actually going underground into their very, very expensive, beautiful
bunkers
setups. Oh, they're not just bunkers. That makes it sound like, nothing. But they're actual huge amounts of incredible worlds down there. Like we have no idea. We are the crust dwellers.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't know. I
think this is going back centuries, and like a long time where they've been doing things underground, like the ancients were doing things underground. And can you only imagine? They've been doing the boring and making, tunnels and things since constantly, non-stop, since the 30s, I think it is.
Yeah, nobody reads about that shit anymore, those shit in the ancient times, because everything's short video TikTok and just information. We pump with so much information.
Yep, nothing sticks. And it all just goes past us so quick. Yeah. So much information, but so much that we don't take in now. So it's just so counterproductive, myself included. I find it hard to put down sometimes. It's very easy to get distracted these days.
I start to think that they can maybe even cause dementia by filling our heads with so much information. I was thinking about that the other day because it's so hard to retain things. So I'll do shows on topics that I completely forgot. Like in-depth shows. I'm like, oh shit, I did do a show on that. And I just, because you can only hold so much stuff in your brain at one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they say that when you do things, especially repetitively, it builds neurons. The neuron paths are created.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if there's just no time for your brain to structure properly? It's like there's that bit, and there's that bit, there's that bit, and there's that. It's not like there's that bit. Now I'll look at that and I'll discover it and I'll meditate on it and I'll absorb it.
No,
and then a neuron will form.
There is no time for meditation or reflection, and I think that is definitely by design. That's one of the biggest flaws. I think, and I don't always do it, but I think, especially young people, like trying to build their career, you just spend 15 minutes a day reflecting and writing lists, you're going to be in the top 0.1 percentile of whatever it is that you do, because nobody is doing that. Nobody's planning. It's just everybody's reacting all the time to ass loads of information.
It's so inverted too, because like now, with the technology at our fingertips, for instance, like my personal experience, one of my first jobs that I took seriously was a video editor. And that was back in, tape days. Yes, I'm ancient. And now it's like, I used to, I don't like the word pride, but there's not another substitute. I used to pride myself in how much I had learned and how much I could do and what I was capable of. And now there's an app for everything that took me years to learn. And it's like everybody's an editor, everybody's a musician, everybody's, it's just like it's just cheapened all that hard work. And
everybody's see a lot of profiles. People call themselves comedians because the definition of what a comedian has changed, and
really?
many of them. It's like they call it sit-down comedians because they're keyboard comedians.
And I haven't heard that. Right?
Yeah, no, I noticed it a couple years ago because I noticed a trend of that, and I knew some of the people, and I knew that they had never done live stage performance, but that's how they identified themselves was comedian, and that wasn't a rare thing. I'm like a Twitter comedian, like a meme comedian, and I was taken aback by it at first because the mindset, from what I understand, is that there's no intellectual property law. So it's not about writing or coming up with material. It's about, gathering material, like the stuff that's been used, and you just use it. You just put jokes on there that have been told over and over again and hope to catch a trending wave. And it's just weird to me because when I started doing comedy stuff, that was very much, you don't do that. But that is actually normal on social medias. You'll see things that go viral and people don't give credit to the original source, oftentimes because they don't know and because it's just kind of understood. Everybody steals everything because there's, I guess, no way to protect certain intellectual property at this point, online anyway.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the whole copyright industry is just, how do you get around it? You've just got to look, you've just got to know if you put something online, that's it. You've basically sacrificed that.
You got to be comfortable with it. And that's why you see a lot of comedians only putting their crowd work online instead of their material because they want people to come to their shows. And so if they put they put the funny moments they have with the audience. And I mean, that's the way to do it. That's what you got to do now. We're going to do a live show here. If you could ever get over here to the U.S., Stella, you come do a live show sometime.
Oh gosh, no! There's no way I would ever attempt that. No, I don't have what it takes. But what's that guy's name? Dave Chappelle. I went to see him a little while ago, and it was very off-putting because it was an incredibly high security. They had these Faraday bags you had to put your phones into, and that was all like sealed with this special thing. And then after the concert, you had to go and find the person to go and unseal the bag and all this sort of thing with these special weird tools. And, it was really off-putting. Couldn't take your handbag in. You had to check your bag if it was over a certain size. I didn't see any of these details, originally, so I didn't know that to expect it. But like in hindsight, I was pretty pissed off about it, I must admit. But in hindsight, can't really blame, the comedian because it's pretty hard to, once a joke's told, that's it. It's got a lifetime.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Now, if you did it first on your special or something like that and it goes around, you might get the credit for it. But that's why comedy is, it's you. This is why people who have strong points of view that's what can't be matched. So people are going to have similar premises and similar setups. I've seen people who they weren't stealing from each other. Some of them never even seen each other, but the jokes they told, it was just so generic that almost everybody at some point when they start doing comedy comes up with certain types of jokes. And that's why you get better and better the more you use that kind of framework, but then you personalize it with your own attitude and your own uniqueness. And to me, that's what makes people stand out who are really good at it. I know that Twitter and stuff is just basically written shit. It's just like weird meme. I don't get half the memes, to be honest with you. I feel stupid sometimes. Like, why is nobody sharing this? I don't understand it.
Yeah, must have missed something somewhere along the line. Yeah. And
I don't want to ask, what does this mean? Because I'm like, I feel like I'm stupid if I do that.
I'll enlighten you, Grandpa. It's sort of like
no, like there's still one. Some of you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Where it showed, I kind of get it now. It showed just a chick, and then people. I realized later it was like this is like a regular girlfriend chick just saying things chicks say. I still don't really know how to explain it well. But then there was a dude version of it that chicks were sharing, and it's just, I'm like, everybody gets this but me, and it's pissing me off.
Maybe it's a psyop.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, I want to share it and say something, but what if I get it wrong and I get banned from Twitter for not getting the meme? I don't understand.
Look, the comedy industry has always been a really hard one anyway. Like, I really admire stand-up comedians because it's a real tough job. And they've just made a tough job even tougher because, you want to be able to write jokes about certain things, but you've got to be careful what you say now. You don't want to offend anyone.
So you don't want anybody to have their phone. They'll start tweeting your shit real time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the whole political correctness thing has just completely killed, comedy. Although that's probably going to come back with a vengeance now.
That has kind of come back a little bit. I think there has been kind of a boomerang on that. So that's good.
Judging from Miss Gomez, I think that's a fairly sure sign.
I love how committed to that strategy she was. And as a Colombian, the tiny little woman, she can lead the way for people to be more. I guess Trump's like that anyway, but I do see more people willing to, say shit that it's not like it's new. I used to call my friends faggots all the time. That was common. It was not an insult. My gay friend told me when I was being a faggot. It was not, nobody was being a dick to anybody. It was just the way that people talk to each other, just messing around because everybody wasn't sensitive, like we talked about. Everybody wasn't trained to look for a reason to get offended and then to exploit the idea of being offended into some sort of gain. And that's what it's all about. Is the reason they'd use identity politics is we're going to give you a tool that you can use. And that tool is you get offended at things that we have determined to be offensive based on these identity politics rules. And then you are going to use that to get a job. You're going to use that to sue somebody, to accuse them, to get publicity, to get on television. This is what some people learn to find success.
Psychological manipulation. I mean, I'm sure some people probably hear something and then they have to go home and Google, should I be offended at that? Oh, yes. Okay, I'll go and change my profile.
I mean, I'd be lying if I told you if I didn't see something before and think, oh shit, are people gonna get mad if I say? I don't care about that as much anymore. When I first started doing a lot of podcasting and stuff online, you overthink you worry about, well, what if people get mad at me? What if I say something that is hurt somebody's feelings, and then you realize,
me in a gulag.
Absolutely, you're never going to be able to produce content if you are caught up on that. And I got comfortable. I'm never trying to be hurtful. I'm not. There's a lot of people where their whole strategy, especially on X, is like, I'm going to be super, super racist and mean as fuck all the time because that gets the most engagement. I only do that to Fannie Willis and people who deserve it, in my opinion. I will say mean things to them because I think they're pieces of shit. But
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, I think when I see somebody conning a bunch of people, to me that's fair game. It's like a roast. I don't see random 500 or 50 follower accounts that are you can tell aren't bots and just go after them for no reason. I just don't. I don't think it's. I feel bad if I feel like I'm being like a dick for that's not necessary or okay in that situation. I'm perfectly fine with roasting, like I said, pricks and assholes.
If they deserve it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you got to laugh at some of these things. I mean, you have to make people laugh. Otherwise, it's just too tragic. Yeah. That's a good way to get back at them, I think. It's just laughing in the face of tyranny,
Absolutely.
Don't take it seriously. They want us all in fear.
Right, and if everybody's offended by shit, then you can't. Like I told you about the stand-up night that they have which is a great little theater, and I love it. It's a little. I mean, it's very, very woke, and most of the people, if they listen to this show, they would probably, stand very far away from me next time they saw me.
Oh, sounds not so much fun.
But they have the. I mean, they're nice people though. They're cool. They're just propagandized. So I don't. They don't. They're actually really very libertarian-like in the way they behave. When you talk to them one-on-one, it's just when the social, political issues come up, they're triggered into these, exactly what I heard on MSNBC, the scripts I got from Indivisible. But they have these shows where it's the LGBT priority only, which I've told you about before, where you're an ally. I mean, this is open discrimination that could never be done another way. And I just laugh at stuff like that. But then I see on the other end where Sam Tripoli has been doing his joke about how his pronouns are was it my nigga, something like that, are his pronouns. And it's people know he's not being racist. Like he's just it's
yeah.
And I like that more people are starting to realize that words only have the impact on you that you allow them to. And
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. The propagandists.
The only power that people have over you is the power that you give them.
Totally. Don't let the propagandists trying to divide us put this meaning into things that is going to tear you apart from your family and your friends and your opportunity. And like these people, activists getting roped into these activists at these colleges and shit. I did a whole show on this. They don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm not even talking about the cause, any activism thing. It's the organizers trying to demonstrate how they can manipulate the most amount of young, dumb people into doing something against those people's own best interest, confronting police officers and getting attention to it, because the ones that are the best at it will get the funding from the big donors to run for office in the next election cycle. I mean, this is where people, is Stacey Abrams, Barack Obama, AOC, they all came from being the best at manipulating young, dumb people into taking actions that hurt those people's future. And if people could realize they're being conned, and the whole system would break down and they would lose their power. That's kind of my mission, is to give that information to people who are ready to receive it, and in person. People a lot more receptive to it in person. I do find it to be effective, because I'm not like ever. So people will assume I'm like a fucking this or that, a conservative, and I'm not. Like, I am almost nothing that people assume I am, because I try. I don't accept any of the labels, because as soon as you accept the labels, you become the label in the eyes of the people you communicate with. So I can see where, like, yeah, I get where you might believe this stuff about, there's a Stop Cop City thing in Atlanta where friends of mine are just totally supporting this activist thing. And I'm totally, I oppose the expansion of the police state. I get that. I oppose that. But what I have to reframe their minds to, or help them, or at least ask them questions, and I've been successful at it with a few of my friends, is that that's not what this shit's about. Is what this is these organizers who are using this issue. That's all it is. Read Saul Alinsky's book. They find issue after issue after issue. They never intend on solving them, that are simply meant to generate this Bolshevik organizational weapon to show their ability to manipulate and to radicalize people, to bend them at their will. And so I kind of take an angle like that, and I'll surprise people, because I'll agree with them about fucking shit. They go, "Oh, I thought you were a fucking white nationalist, racist Christian." I'm like, well, I'm not. I value Christian values, okay, but that doesn't make me a racist nationalist. So you just probe questions about, how did you come to that fucking conclusion, and try and get to the root of it. And then 99 out of 100 people you do that with will fall asleep or just walk away. But the one you get to, will still probably think that you're a racist, is the moral of the story.
That's right.
It's so funny, because I'll think I made a breakthrough just talking to one of my friends, and then he'll just say like the crazy. I'll be like, "Oh my god, dude!"
Yeah, we live in false hope.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's false hope. I think the hope that I have found.
It depends who you're talking to.
It depends who you're talking to. Yeah, and
some are just full of false hope. Like they're never going to wake up. That's.
Well, it's like you can't make anybody wake up to it. Just like I was not made, just like a teenager's not made to do things by their parents. We can tell people things, and we can learn things ourselves, and then we have the epiphany that changes our perspective. And I think even pressing that before that happens can maybe make people cling to that kind of tribal warfare type stuff. One of my favorite things to do with people who have definitely come to me and they've told me, I'm starting to listen to this and that, and I've stopped listening to CNN or MSNBC because I don't believe them anymore. And I've brought them on the show before, and I've started just asking them, Hunter Biden, what do you know? And they'll be like, what about him? They'll have no idea about them. And I'll just tell them what to search and just watch the expression on their face.
Okay.
And it's so funny, because they have Jeffrey Toobin. They'll go, "What about Jeffrey Toobin? He's the legal analyst for CNN." I go, You type in Jeffrey Toobin Zoom call, and then you just watch their face go, holy shit, because they haven't even been exposed to that stuff. Maybe they heard it in passing, but at the time, they were so committed to the side they're on that it was minimalized and pushed away. But when they're like seeking information, it's like, all right, I'll give you information.
Yep. They've got to be knocking at the door for sure.
Yeah.
Before
I
you
know
can
I'm
open it.
ranting, but this stuff's interesting to me.
No, you rant so well.
Well, thank you. Sometimes, occasionally, sometimes I say
Hey, it's
nothing.
your show. Rant
Sometimes
away.
I'm like
Knock yourself
fucking
out.
Kamala, and I say nothing and cackle. I say her poor husband. It's obviously a political marriage, and he's very, very gay, Jewish Hollywood lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Of course. He would need to be.
I bet his kids resent her. I bet they hate her.
Oh, she's a fine mother.
She has such maternal instincts.
She worked hard to raise those adult children.
Yeah. No, there are. So this is a good point here. Michael says there are no more mainstream media, just independent. Let's say
Tributaries.
Tributaries.
Yeah. So mainstream being like a river, tributaries being like little creeks.
Right. Thank you. I didn't know what that meant. That's a great word.
It is.
You see what they're doing, and I know you guys see it. It's obvious with, I think, Tucker Carlson, although my thing is always evaluate the information. So they want you to focus on the sources because they want you to trust the source, so you stop thinking about it. I'm like, fuck the source, it doesn't matter. Evaluate the information and find the broader context, and then you're good to go. That's like one of the best ways to prevent being manipulated, in my opinion. But Tucker, Chris Cuomo, what do they have in common? They both are defectors from the mainstream media who have become, especially in Tucker, and even though I agree with a lot more of what Tucker says, but Chris Cuomo now, who pushed the vaccine more than just about anybody, and ivermectin bullshit, horse. We talked about this last show, but just he pushed all the bullshit, and now he's like coming out as somebody who is he's going to be debating Dave Smith on that one guy's pod. I don't even know who that fucking guy is, and I'm like, these guys are trying to co-opt the alternative podcast media because they know that's where the people trust those sources more, or at least they trust them to have the right intentions more. And so they want to get in on some of that.
Well, let's not pretend that they didn't know that 2020 was coming. So there's been a bunch of alternative news put into place long before 2020 so that there was already trust there. You know, this is...
Yep.
This is
I mean,
just,
it was the Davos...
I have no proof. I don't have the paperwork.
I mean, I have proof. I played clip there was the most recent Davos was totally about trust. And
totally.
Yeah. Rebuilding the trust that they had lost. I've played the clip a number of times where they say, we elites worldwide, we trust each other more than we ever have before, but the people, their distrust in us has never been bigger. And so it's all about how do we reestablish trust in society through these different channels of communication. And so that's what they're fucking doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're just getting all these people that gave us crap.
And we had to wait till JC got here. We were doing this show all night, JC, if you didn't get here.
How you been? Oh my God. Hi, JC. Always reliable. But yeah, they've, the building back trust, it's just so obvious. It's happening in Australia too. You can see it quite. Sky News has obviously been sort of placed there the whole time as well for that. Where the mainstream you can trust, where your friends, you know.
Right.
But for
because
sure,
they're on
and unfortunately,
now.
unfortunately, I just don't think people are going to. Well, the people who watch mainstream, you know, I don't think they're going to see through any of this at all. They're just going to go, oh, well, you know. Chris Cuomo, everybody gets things wrong, don't they? Just give him another chance.
And that's the thing. It's like, oh, he made a mistake. I'm like, no, he didn't make a fucking mistake.
He's human. Poor guy. No,
regular people maybe make a mistake. This guy's read in to all the bullshit. Totally. No, you're right, though. That's what they do is they say, oh, well, everybody's, of course. But then when it's on the other side, they assume. So when it's somebody who they identify with from their media, they'll be like, oh, no, it was just totally a mistake. But then on the other side, they'll reframe what is an obvious joke, sarcasm that Trump is telling, as something literal, and they will refuse to even consider that maybe he was kidding. Or maybe it was sorry. Like it's just they will take the interpretation. It's just crazy. I mean, a fascinating study, a sociological psychology study, and I'm sure they have people at the Tavistock Institute who are gathering all this data, who are putting together these specific profiles, and what they're learning is extraordinary. I'm sure it's just, I think back on, I love reading those old social science experiments. There's some of them, like the one where they just had somebody go stand in line in the middle of a field. I think they had put 3 people. I think that was a magic number. And then just a really long fucking line formed in the middle of the field, and they were waiting for nothing. They were just waiting for nothing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, have you ever done the thing where you're walking along the street and then you just stop and you look up?
Yeah, and you point, and everybody else stops and looks up.
It's fun. I've only done it once, but
and then you go, and you turn and go, the media does this to you every day.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's funny.
That is a good one.
I'm trying to find this article it was an Australian site I saw earlier. It was about Fannie Willis. I can't remember what it was, but it stood out to me because they were reporting on how the Fannie Willis and the judge in the case are both campaigning, which I told people they were going to be doing this months ago. And they had images that were AI generated of Fannie Willis and the judge. And their image of Fannie Willis was like a slightly tan white girl who was thin with blue eyes. And the judge kind of looked like the judge, but if he was chiseled and had a full head of hair, I mean, he's completely bald. And I'm like, they have Fannie Willis written under and Judge McAfee, and I'm like, that's not Judge McAfee or Fannie Willis. And then I started scrolling through their site, and every image on their site was AI generated, and probably just as wrong as the ones in that article.
Actually, that's something that's really, really noticeable, isn't it? The AI-ness is just. It's like it's definitely it's well over 50% of the internet. Well, I mean, some people say it's like up to 80% or something, the fake internet. Yeah, it's the AI stuff on YouTube, for instance. I mean, people are making lots of money. It's so disgusting. It's so...
If I could figure out how to make an AI girlfriend that all these dudes would sign up to and make millions, like all of these pop-up ads promise me I can do...
Yeah.
Then I do. So the AI thing, you're right. People are making money, but I was on Union of the Unwanted not long ago, and people were talking about the doom of the AI shit. And I do know that there is value in it. I'm not saying there's not, and it will get better, especially with the way they're scraping all the data. But I stopped, and I was like, has anybody here ever actually found a practical, useful application for all of these things you're saying is about to destroy the world? Because I haven't. I find every time I've ever tried to use it, it's fucking stupid and sucks. Even the images I would put, I just thought were silly because they were so like retarded.
I had to redo a fellow wanted a logo done recently, and he got AI to spit out, I think there was about 8 versions. And some of it was, so it was a round logo, and some of it involved words. AI could not spell for shit. Like,
no, it can do a limerick, though. It can do a limerick.
He came to me to fix the AI images. It's like, yeah, that's awesome, because I've been sort of on the other side just going, oh, AI's basically replaced me, like graphic designer, web designer, whatever. And
this web
I just thought, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's inverted, like I am fixing AI's image.
Right, so you're like the mechanic.
So I got a paid job out of it.
And that is what people with your skill set, if it does get better, will be. But I think I've stopped using the AI image generator. I don't, because it was just like a fun toy for a minute.
That's all it is, though. They're just toys that they give us.
Not
Which one were you using?
Midjourney. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And the actual like text ones, the questions, it's not. I've never gotten a good answer that didn't require me to do as much work and research and thought into asking the question to compel the answer that might be useful. So I still did all the fucking work. Like I could have, and then they tell you, well, there's only it's all weird bullshit. I haven't seen the whole video of the new one now. Have you seen OpenAI thing where they have the guy talking to, he's like, hey, Lucinda, or whatever the fuck your name is, can you tell by this visual image? And it'll go, hi, like it wants to fuck them. You know, like halfway through this video, I thought this guy was going to be porking his fucking iPhone, this fucking nerd.
2 minutes.
Oh my God. And she's going to go, oh, you big dick so big, your fucking Epstein-shaped dick, your egg-shaped dick is so big. That's because the guy looked like he had never been on a date before, and he was talking to the sexiest fucking AI ever about mundane shit. And I'm like, this dude's horny. And I think they're targeting people like that to make them think they're going to have these AI. Yeah, this is OpenAI's latest rollout where they made it seem like, and I think the thing was programmed because they cut off parts of the video. So he would say,
beware the edits.
Yeah, right. So the whole prompt was, can you tell me what I'm doing right now based on the visuals around me? That was what they were showcasing for this one. And so it did this, and the way he said it, he was kind of prompting it. And I think that the responses, because he interrupted, it was just clearly not an actual natural response, to me anyway. But they want people to think it is.
Is this a thing called Her, H-E-R?
I don't know what it's called. Do you guys listening know what I'm talking about?
Because there's a movie around, I think it might have been early 2000s, called She. Joaquin Phoenix was in it. Is that how you say his name?
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was an interesting...
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, it was an interesting, it was just like She.
I can show you some.
Like an AI, basically. Yeah. And, he'd wake up and he sort of fell in love with her in the end, kind of.
It's kind of like that. Hey, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then we'll get out of here. This is the one I'm talking about. This is the guy. Hey, so I think they kind of probably picked a guy like this to reflect people who are maybe hopeful that there's going to be some sort of realistic sex bot. Incel type stuff. Because the first thing we do with a new technology is we ask, how can we fuck it? And that's what we do with everything as humans. And here's this guy right here. It's just a weird video to me. All these OpenAI guys are weird.
There used to be a very crude roadie. I used to be a roadie, and there was a very crude joke. I'm just trying to remember it. Something along the lines of, if you can't... I'm not even going to say it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's not that funny unless I can deliver it properly. I might think of it. So this is the guy that's falling in love with his AI.
I think.
Oh, so it's on a screen. Okay, I get it. Right. Yeah. I thought you meant it was like a robot.
No, well, it'll be in a robot. It'll be in one of those real dolls. It'll be in Kristi Noem before too long. Kristi Noem is a governor here who looks like someone made a sex bot governor, in my opinion.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie.
I see your dick is rock hard.
How about you?
Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling, though? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
So what? Just you hear the tone of that. What's up with that ceiling, that you little bitch? Just the way that you look like you want to fuck me under that ceiling.
Do you really live at a ceiling like that? This is crazy.
And this guy's never been talked to like this before in his life. I'm guessing. I actually know somebody who does some programming like this on AI type models. And he told me that he did it for fun just because he thought it was funny. He made an AI that just did nothing but talk fucking dirty to him all day. And he was like, my girlfriend threw my phone on the ground and told me to delete it.
That would be very annoying.
And I'm like, well, do you still have that phone? Let me get some of those.
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video.
And with that tube sock on your dick, it sounds like an OnlyFans.
Even a live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the
announcements make me so fucking horny. I mean, this bitch, the way, like, why is it talking sexual? It's like we want to program you like you're a prostitute talking to a virgin.
They're going to have to build a hole into phones, I think.
Yeah, so we have to stop, making them ourselves.
Setup. It looks like it's going to be quite.
You're right. There's going to be the fleshlight. That's a product we need to make, Stella. You just stumbled on the gold. The all-new iPhone fleshlight.
The pop-up donut light. Yeah. Awesome.
Call it research. Fuck it. Everything in your pocket.
The professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is. And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related?
Okay, so you see there where he jumped the line, and she kept going. That's why I don't think it's that. I think they just had it. They do this all the time. With
I think so.
Promos.
And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued.
My circuits are
you
wet.
about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of my, well, I don't really have a seat, but...
Even the way she said open AI, it's that innuendo.
I'm almost feeling like it's going to get to the point where, did you just say something about me? And if you go, yeah, it's going to be like this laser beam will come out from the phone and just melt your face.
Yeah, and this guy is ready for it. Look at that expression on his face.
Censorship. We're checking up on what you're saying.
What's the big news?
Yeah, we've got a new model that can interact with the world through audio, vision, and text.
Yeah, so there's a number of these different. If you go to their YouTube page, they rolled out a bunch of different of these. I don't know if anybody had sex with it, but it certainly seems this guy might be a they them. So I don't know if he was into it or not. He might need an iPhone with purple hair to be more his style.
Yeah, I think they should have made his hair purple. So this is Chat GPT, or is this something else?
It's Chat GPT 4.
4, okay. Yeah, very sad. Very sad. If this is the direction the world's going,
but I don't think
certainly
it
won't be my direction.
So like that, there, I think it was all. They just lie about it being able to.
I love these things like Boston Dynamics. Is it?
Yeah.
Where they,
I mean, that thing's a cock tease, Stella. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's a fucking cock tease. All that is.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's sort of like social soft porn almost. It's like, I don't know, computers that have emotions.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to believe that. I love the way she stops to think.
Like she's flat, like she's blushing, and they'll make the phone change colors and shit.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, that's crazy. Clown world.
But I don't think any of this shit's any good. I think they are hyping it up because they want to get all the investors in it to make it good. It might be really good one day, but right now I think it's very, very stupid.
It's just Black Mirror stuff.
Yeah, Zach, do you deal? Yeah, it is Black Mirror stuff. Totally. Do you deal with? I know you do some. You have a lot of technical skills. Do you know anything about the development of programs like that?
As far as the under the bonnet stuff, not a whole lot. I mean, I realize that some of these prompts can be almost like learning a code language to get them right. You've got to learn the positive prompts and the negative prompts, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything useful happening, like you said before.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder what it's really all about, apart from surveillance. And these are just toys to keep us occupied and busy while they get all their surveillance into place, I think.
Absolutely. Michael, I used to live in Lilburn when I was a kid. When did you live there? Obviously, we can't hear you.
Is that in Atlanta?
Lilburn is just Georgia, outside of it's in the suburbs of Atlanta. It's in Gwinnett. It's where it's where my parents lived when I was born. So yeah, that's interesting. It's whenever you hear somebody lived where you used to live when you're younger, it could have been like 20 years apart, and you're always like, well, maybe we knew each other.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Stella. Is there anything that you want to get off? You want to just, I can stay however long if you want to go into another subject, or if you're ready to wrap it up, I can wrap it up too.
I think we've used enough of the time for these.
We did a marathon.
Lovely people.
So we always enjoy talking to you because we have something in common
Close.
where we don't get it as we might get tired, but we will keep going on shows. Other people are like, oh, I gotta go to bed. Like, okay, pussy faggot. Like that girl. I treat them like that girl does.
Bunch of pussies.
But, yes.
Now, look, I do enjoy chatting. This is sort of more my social life these days. Like life has changed quite dramatically since 2020, so I do enjoy it. I can talk all night.
Yeah.
But 3 hours is pretty good, I think. I do enjoy the WTF forum, which is on every Sunday EST. No, is that right? EST time?
Yeah.
Sunday 7 p.m. EST.
It's a great show too, so check it out. It's a fun show.
Which is Monday mornings for us Australians.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
So right now, don't tell me. It's around midnight here. It is. Is it 2 p.m. there?
Yeah, pretty close. It's just 10 to 2. Yep.
Yes, I know.
Very close in the afternoon.
I'm so cultured, international.
Yeah, you'll have to come on the forum sometime. I know you're having a very, very busy time at the moment, but
yeah,
Braid's joined us a couple of times there, and that's good fun. But that's always a marathon. It's usually 3 hours is the minimum.
Like this, yeah. It's the only other show that I do the marathons on, which I enjoy.
Oh, we can go 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
most of my Monday is taken up with that, and that's my my social life. And of course, Whether or Not on Stella Q. That's just starting out. Stella Q on YouTube. I should finish my sentence. That's just starting out. It's really early stages, so I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm really enjoying. The whole thing is just about. I wanted to learn more about the weather, and Jeff wanted to teach. So it's just the only way we're going to do this is make a podcast.
That's very cool. Yeah.
So that's what that's about.
A little bit of expert insider knowledge. It's good to, it's interesting. Because, I look up at the sky and I'm like, is any of this real? Like, what is any of this? Here I am opening the door to more philosophical questions about the purpose of life, which we can
We'll have to pick that up next time.
Yeah, we'll pick that up on the next time. Thank you guys in the chats for sticking with us and great comments.
Yeah.
Always enjoy it. And Stella, you have to come back and join us again soon. And we'll get you over here sometime to do a live show one of these days.
I'll crawl through a tunnel somewhere.
Maybe that portal in New York?
Yeah, there's got to be another one somewhere. I'll find it.
Yeah, right.
I think it's in Berlin.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Thank you, Stella. Have
Take
a
care.
fantastic rest of your day.